this morning at the High Court.
Thank you, Justice. Dr. Esidimeni has since launched the urgent application to set aside the subpoena which was issued and sent against him. He was set down for hearing on the 28th of November. After argument having been presented before the judge, judgment was reserved to be delivered this morning. We accordingly attended at court for the heading down of the judgment. And the application was dismissed, which then had the effect that Dr. Esidimeni had no other basis to object to coming to these proceedings. But soon after the judgment had been granted, he then proceeded to make an application for leave to appeal the judgment dismissing his application, which was also dismissed. So where we are now is that Dr. Esidimeni is expected to present himself before these proceedings tomorrow at 9 o'clock. So that's where the situation is at, and we look forward for his attendance in these proceedings.
Thank you. Well done, and congratulations to the team that argued. Is there any comment from any of the council on this issue, which seems to be obvious and plain?
Nothing from our side. Thank you, Justice Museneke.
Advocate Hasen,
Nothing from our side either, thanks, Justice.
Advocate Groenewald,
Nothing from our side. Thank you, Justice.
No comment.
evidence leader, no.
No comment.
You have no comment. Very well. We will then proceed. Let me start it a little late. I think we have to get on with it. Advocate Krause.
Thank you. Justice, could we just hand up a few exhibits? LR 106 is an affidavit by Nomsa Khadebe. LS 107 to 110 are photographs. We will refer to them in due course.
Yes.
Then my learned friend is going to lead the next witness.
Very well.
Thank
The
you.
exhibits are admitted into the record. Mr. Skibby.
Thank you, Justice. We are calling the next witness, Leseho Baloi. She will take an oath. She will testify in English. However, there is an interpreter sitting next to her. If she has got the experience and problems, then the interpreter will be of assistance to her.
Would you put your full names on record?
Leseho Rebecca Baloi.
Ms. Baloy, do you swear that the evidence you are about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth? And if so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
In which language do you want to testify?
I will testify in English. In case words are not there or I don't understand what to say in English, I'll go to my mother tongue, which is Tswana.
Setswana.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Mr. Skibby.
Thank you, Justice. Ms. Baloi, where do you reside?
I reside in 2724 Umhlaba Street, Ebony Park, extension 6.
Where is that?
It's in Tembisa, the side of Midrand.
We're going to talk about one of the survivors in the Gauteng Marathon project. Julia Malinzi Khatle. How are you related to her?
Malensui is my sister. She's elder than me.
What is Malin's surname?
Malensui Khatle.
Khatle.
Yes, Justice.
How old is Malinzi?
She will be turning 52 on the 31st of December.
Where is Malinzi now?
She is at Live Banning in Maingrove.
Malinzi, is she one of the survivors in the Gauteng Marathon project?
Yes, she is.
Where was she before the Gauteng Marathon project?
She was in Live Randfontein.
Since when?
She's been in Randfontein from 1983.
Was she admitted a patient at Randfontein Life, Esidimeni?
Yes,
Was she taking any medication?
yes, she is taking medication.
All right. Is she able to talk?
Yes, but she has limited speech and most of the time she doesn't make sense of what she's saying.
Can she be able to walk by herself?
Sorry?
Is she able to walk? Is she mobile?
Yes, she is.
Did she go to school?
Never in her life.
What is wrong with Malinzi? Briefly, just tell us.
Her diagnosis,
What is her mental health condition?
we were told that she is severely mentally disabled.
When was she diagnosed with that? Perhaps, do you know?
She's older than me, but what I've heard from my family, when she was 1 year old, they realized there was something wrong with her.
And when was she referred to Randfontein Life, Esidimeni? Do you know?
She went in 1983.
Okay. At Randfontein Life, Esidimeni, was she taking medication there?
Yes, she was taking medication.
How was her condition after she was at Randfontein Life, Esidimeni?
At Randfontein, Julia was well cared for. Her condition was far much better because I remember when I was growing up, my sister was very violent. Hence, my parents moved me to go to study in Northwestern Rustenburg because of the violent situation that we experienced at home. Because sometimes he would attack us, we had to run and hide until they calm the situation. So since she was at Life, things became better. She became more calmer.
Right. In May,
Now I'm going to ask you to repeat her age again, her present age.
She is turning 52 years
52.
on the 31st of December.
And I'm asking the question because I cannot understand why she would be at Live Banning, which I understood to be a sanctuary for young people.
Justice, I'm not sure. It's because my sister was in Randfontein, then moved to Takalani. Then a lot happened at Takalani. Then only this year, April, I think it was on the 8th or 7th, I got a call from a social worker telling me that they will be moving her to Live Banning. Is it fine or do we prefer Selby? So we said Live Banning because Malinzwi's home is at Zone 9 Middlelands, so Banning is nearer to us. So that's how we said yes, it's fine. But other than that, we don't know why they chose Banning.
Thank you, Justice. Some events unfolded in year 2016, which led some of the patients being moved from Randfontein Life Esidimeni. Malinzi, was she still there at that time?
Was she still at live budding?
Was she at Ranfandin?
No, she was moved from, okay, yes, she was moved from Randfontein in May 2016, not June, May 2016.
Where was she moved to?
Takalani in Soweto.
Were you informed about the move when she was to be moved from Ranfandin to Takalan?
Nobody called us. We never got information that she was being moved that day.
How did you learn that she was to be moved?
When I got to work that Friday, a colleague of mine suggested that she phone a cousin sister who stays in Randfontein. Because if I can explain what happened before, that week we got information that patients were being moved without family members knowing. So we were already panicking. So I was sharing information of what was happening about the move with my colleague. Hence, that Friday, she suggested that the cousin sister go to live Randfontein, inquire about my sister if she was still there. So she got there, she found my sister on a queue to get into the bus to be transferred. So she asked the personnel at Randfontein if we were aware that she was moving that day. They said yes, they did phone us. We didn't respond to our phones, and they sent messages, still we didn't respond. Honestly speaking, the numbers of my 3 sisters, including me, were in the records because we visited her as she doesn't have parents, but we never got a message, we never got a call. So it simply means they used a number of somebody we don't know. If they did call.
Then ultimately, did you go and see where she was taken or moved to? That is Malinzi?
We had to go the following day, the Saturday, because they moved her on Friday. Because already as we panicked during the week, we were planning to go and visit her in Randfontein to ensure that she was fine. So we had to drive as early, I think it was before 8, to look for Takalani because number one, we did not know where Takalani was.
So nobody told you the physical address of Takalani, where your sister, yes, your sister was moved to?
No, even if they were asked by the cousin sister of a colleague that you phoned them, you didn't get them, she sent me now. Are you going to communicate with her? They promised yes, but they did not.
Yes, this following Saturday, then you visited your sister Malinzi at Takalani. What did you manage to see her on that Saturday?
Yes, we did. I was with my sister and my baby daughter.
Just tell us when you found her, where was she and how was the place where she was taken to, that is Takalani.
Number one, when you got to the gate, security was limited. Yes, it's got a nice gate there, a bigger one. But there was only one security at the gate. Maybe I'm lying if I say security was not that well. Number two, visibility of personnel observing mentally challenged patients was not visible. Number three, it was raining. It was a very cold day. I remember very well because we were wearing boots and jackets, so warm. But unfortunately for her, she was walking barefooted. She was wearing a small tight skirt, which was even tattered. So that's one thing that made us to know that that was not the place to be, because if she was in Randfontein, nothing of such had ever happened before.
Did you get any warm clothes for her when you found her in that condition?
Yes, we did not have a choice but to go to the shops and buy for her the shoes and the jackets for her to be warm.
What about food? Had she eaten? Or
When she ate as if she was hungry. I don't know whether maybe she had little food in the morning, because I can't say maybe she didn't eat, because it was day one. But she ate, showing that she was very hungry.
how was her physical appearance? Was she neat?
Day one was better, because I think it was after they were moved. They were still clean. But the clothes that she was wearing, for me, they were a concern, Justice, because she's got a bigger body. So you can imagine somebody with a bigger body wearing a tight, tattered skirt, whereby the sperm meats were protruding. I don't know whether that's the right term to use. But it was not a nice sight to see.
What was protruding?
Ah, Justice, the sperm meats.
The spare meat. You are very unkind to Malin.
Dispatched.
Okay, let's go on. Can't get by lifting when I talk clap and I say.
Too much is in Bikinyan.
Did you have a look at her file to see whether there was some prescription for her or whatever? On that first day, we are on the first day of your visit.
Are you asking if I saw her file?
Yes, on
Okay.
that first day.
When we got to Takalani day one, we were told that because they said professional staff was not there. So we did not know whether she had medication. We did not know whether she was transferred with her ID and all that, because questions that we asked, they said they can only be responded to on Monday when the professional staff was there. So it was only the caregivers.
So you've already told us that you bought some clothes, and then did you have a subsequent visit thereafter?
Yes, because we were not happy with what we saw. We had to visit her. I think we visited her after a fortnight. As we are coming from Tembisa, it's a distance to go to Soweto like now and then.
How was she when you visited her the second time?
She was not good at all, Justice. She smelled dirtily so. She was wearing clothes that belonged to another patient, even though we bought clothes and had marked them. So it simply showed that there was no any order of taking care of the patient's clothes. Because if I'm Lesego Baloyi, my clothes are marked Lesego Baloyi, and I'm wearing Virginia Sebola's clothes, then there's something wrong there. And then she was forever hungry when we visited her. So then I could say it simply means she was not getting enough food.
Yes. How was her reaction, or because you indicated that when she was at Life, Esidimeni and Randfontein, her conditions improved a lot. How was her condition when you visited her the second time?
I remember vividly well, Justice, that first visits, she was still bubbly. When she saw us, she would jump and call the name of her favorite sister, which is Mapule, because whenever we come, she has to ask about her. But as visits, we went to visit her more, she would come in, she would look low, she would not even jump, she would not be excited that she was visited. And one thing that bothers us, she changed in complexion. She became so dark. She lost weight, drastically so. Yes, she was obese. We wanted her to lose weight, but not that way. Because now she was having a nice figure, but out of hunger. So.
If I said it, it would have been politically incorrect.
You cannot say it like this with another person.
Justice, the issue is one, when she was in Randfontein, they were trying to get her to lose weight, but they couldn't. In Takalani, it took them around 2 months for her to be that way. So it really raised eyebrows that it took years for Life Esidimeni to win that battle of her losing weight because of her having, she is having high blood. So they thought that maybe if she reduced her weight, it would be far much better. And she's diabetic as well.
What did you notice about hairdressing or wearing clothes or taking off, whatever? What is it that you observed or you
That's
heard
another
about-
concern that I was going to mention, Justice. That's what we realized again, and what hurts me more, even now when I have to talk about it, is that she was taking off her clothes now. And a concern was that we were told by male patients that she's taking off her clothes. And more to say, like I said when I began, caregivers were not visible, observing them when they were seated together at their leisure time as they relaxed outside. So it was a serious concern for us as a family that what would happen to her as she took clothes off like that. Imagine somebody with a bigger body, 50 years old, nude amongst other patients, especially male patients. So it was a serious concern that I even had to raise, that how are they helping her, what triggered that problem. But I never got a response to that.
How did you learn that she was taking off her clothes?
From male patients that had speech, because when we got there, they would say, Julia, Mama Khautlile, not knowing that my sister is not the mother, because our mother passed on in 2011. So they would tell us, "Ngwana lona o rata ho tlhobola."
Your family members used to take off her clothes and they'll call her, Julia, your mom is here. And my mom passed on some years back.
You didn't hear that, not even from her female counterparts, from the male person.
Yes, most of the time when you arrived at Takalani, you'll find the males at the gates, the first gate after the main gate. There would be one patient who's male opening the gate for you and closing. And the males are the ones that like coming to you most of the time, especially when they see female visitors. So we had this specific, I remember him very well, white patient. He would forever tell us about Julia's progress. She didn't eat, she took off her clothes, she did this, because she knew that if he tells us something about Julia, when we're taking out food, we'll give him a share. So he would update us, even though there were others that were black that would give feedback. But most of them were males that told us about her taking off her clothes. That's why it raised a concern. And if I may mention, Justice, I remember we were at a march in October last year. I'm the one who presented the memorandum. And I asked about her taking off clothes.
Who are we? Who had a march?
The family members.
Family committee.
Yes, the family, not only the committee, the family members as well, and the people that were supporting us.
And it's the same October march we heard about,
Yes, it's
In
2015 October.
2015 October.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, 2016, because they were moved
2016.
yes, last year. Yes.
Yes. And from where to where did you march? Mary Fitzgerald
To the offices
to the
of.
office of the department.
Yes.
Le be le fitlhela mang ko teng?
Whom did you find there?
We found Mema Manamela, and the other colleagues. I don't remember their names. Because I addressed the issue of undressing with her.
No, let the interpreter
Sorry?
interpret that.
I found other members, Mrs. Manamela or Mama Manamela.
And the others that I don't recall their names.
and some members whom I don't recall their names, ba bang ba ke sa hopole maina a bona.
Okay, you may proceed. Eh?
Yes, so after we handed the memorandum, I spoke to her aside about my concern about my sister. That's when she said I shouldn't worry about something that has not happened yet. Because I was worrying about her safety, what could happen to her if she took off her clothes, especially amongst male patients.
So you spoke to Dr. Manamela about
Yes, I
that
did,
specific
Justice.
concern.
Yes, Justice, I did. And she said I shouldn't worry about something that has not happened yet. And they will try to assist Malindri to no more take her clothes off by making a jumpsuit or a bodysuit that would unzip at the back, so it would take her longer for her to take off her clothes. And then I asked if maybe there is a therapy they would use on her, maybe it was a concern of therapy, of her taking off her clothes. And she said they will look at that and assist as well. What amazes me is that she left Takalani this year in April, but from October last year, we have not even seen one of the jumpsuits that were promised, Justice.
Thank you, Justice. I'm going to refer you to ELA 7 in front of you. 107, I'm sorry. This one.
Hear me.
It is a photograph. Who took that photograph?
It's my sister Lefenze.
When was the photograph taken?
It was taken when she was still in Randfontein. I can't recall which year, but Malinzu was still in Randfontein, Justice.
Was it in 2015 or
Yes,
earlier than that?
I think it's either 2015 or maybe beginning of 2016.
Where was it taken, this photograph?
In Randfontein Life, Esidimeni, Justice.
Who is depicted in this photograph?
On the left is my beautiful, bubbly sister, Malenswe. And on the right, it's me, Lesego Baloyi.
And looking at this photograph, she was still having a big body. Am I correct?
Yes, Justice.
As you testified earlier that she had a big body, or she had a weight. So, who is the second person who is appearing on this photograph?
It's me, Lesego Baloyi.
Which one is your picture in these two photographs?
Sorry?
The witness says on LS 107, she is with her sister. She's the person on the right of the photo.
Thank you, Justice. Maybe I missed that. So if you go to Ella 109, do you have it in front of you?
Yes, Justice.
When was that photograph taken?
First day when she arrived at Takalani, that's how we found her.
No, 108, ma'am.
108.
Ella 108.
Okay, sorry. 108 is when the patients were moved.
Who took the photograph? Yeah?
That photograph was taken by one of the family members.
What is depicted in this photograph?
Patients are moved. I don't know. I don't see anyone who could be a staff member to observe them in the bus there. Unless maybe they are wearing private clothes. Because I think they needed somebody accompanying them and observing them in the bus. And then we are not sure if their belongings, maybe there was a trailer or what, so that at least they've got changing clothes when they get to the destination they were taking them to.
So is Marlene depicted in that picture, ILA 108?
No, she's not appearing on that one.
All right. If we move to ILA 109. When was that photograph taken? It is a photograph, indeed, if I may. Place
I'm
on
the one who took that photograph first day when I found Malenswe at Takalane Justice.
it was your first visit, you say?
Yes, a day after she was moved from life Esidimeni Justice.
So you say this flare skirt was not hers?
No, it wasn't. My sister has a problem of not wanting to wear the clothes that she wore the previous day. So I'm thinking, because we found other patients from life still wearing their tracksuits from Esidimeni, which simply means it was clothes from yesterday. So with her, maybe they looked for something just for her to wear.
On Ella 9, I see men seated on the tables behind her.
Yes, Justice. They were in the dining room.
And did male and female mental health caregivers dine at the same place?
Yes, Justice, they did.
Did they sleep in the same wards?
With the wards, I don't want to lie. I'm not sure. I'll be lying because day one when we got there, we were shown these are their beds where Malinzu would sleep. But because it was only us visiting at that moment, we don't know whether it was mixed or not. I don't want to lie.
You know, in the past, we've had evidence of complaints of rape at Takalani.
Hence my consent to Dr. Manamela Justice that I raised that my sister was worse because she was taking off her clothes. Imagine what could have happened. So if somebody is going to tell you that, don't worry about what has not happened yet. That's why I say it really pains me when I go off to think of my sister. Look at that body. Imagine that person naked among other people.
Did she ever complain about any sexual assault?
Like I explained, Justice, with her, she doesn't have much speech. Her speech is limited. She wouldn't explain to us, but like I'm saying, we don't know whether it had happened, because I don't think if it had happened, somebody would have the guts to come and tell us that this had happened to your sister.
And do you know what was the proportion of men and women at Takalani?
Sorry, I did not
Do
get
you know
that.
what was the proportion of men and women when your sister was at Takalani?
No, Justice, I don't.
And you've never asked her whether she shared a ward with men? No.
At Takalani, they were so edgy, they never wanted to give us information. That is why even the photos, they did not want to take photos of patients because already the issue was on the media. So they would tell us, don't take photos, maybe we'll post them. So when you ask questions, they would never answer questions.
But where would you see her when you visit her? Was there a visiting base somewhere? Or because I get the impression that you never went to a ward.
We went on day one because we asked for the loo. So that's when we passed the ward and the personnel told us that they are sleeping here. She just indicated the beds. But more than that, they never gave us information. Like we asked about the ID, we asked about the medication. They did not have answers. They said only during the week we could get that answer. So the visiting, when they started Justice, we would sit in the office. There were sofas there. Or yeah, that's the term I can use. So they would sit us there, we wait, then they would bring her. As time went by, they had a passage behind the office. They put chairs there. That's where we sat. Because I remember it was cold, and when we passed going to the bathroom, I inquired about the place not having heaters. And what is worse with the wards at, or the rooms at Takalani is that, if I can point up there, in between, there's space opening up there. So for me, it simply means a lot of cold air goes in that room. Hence, I asked about the heaters, and they said they were still going to take care of them.
So between the roof and the wall, the height of the wall, there would be space which should allow cold or warm air in.
Yes, Justice. And there were no heaters. Then when I asked, that's when they saw that we asked a lot of questions. And the next visit, we were taken to the office to sit there. And they would take more than 30 minutes. It showed that they were trying to prepare her. Because whenever we visited her and she would be dirty, my sister would bring wipes and try to clean her because she would smell and was dirty, so she would try to clean her. So hence then after we complained about her smelling, they would try to prepare her, but still it was a concern because she would still come with the clothes that were not hers. And still not clean enough. You can imagine if you're going to visit your loved one and you can't hug them close enough. It's as if you are embarrassed of your family member because of how she smelled. It was not as a good sight at all.
So did you manage to go to her bedroom to see if there were sufficient blankets?
We were passing, going to the bathroom. We were pointed at the bed. It was still day one. We couldn't even do anything because they were telling us that everything will be explained to us if we come during the week.
All right. If you go to Ella 110, it is also a picture of Malinzi. Who took that picture?
It's me at my sister's place because we took her for a visit. My sister was on leave, so she decided to take her for a week so that she can go and clean her. And when she returns to Takalani, maybe she would be better. If you look there, it's at a home. Not home Takalani, but in a house. So that's my sister's house.
Looking at that picture, how do you describe that, if you can?
She had really deteriorated when it comes to the weight. At home, I'm the darkest one. This is the darkest complexion you can get at Khatle's family. But look at her on that picture. I was even a mulungu on her because I was a bit lighter. That's how that she was. And look at the body. If you can compare the two bodies from 107, you can see that she was still having her body. But when you look at 107, 110, my sister had drastically lost weight. So she was not a lovely picture to look at because as I can remember my sister from before, she had a fuller figure. She was light in complexion, Justice. She was beautiful. So 3 months, that's how long it took Takalani for my sister to look like that. Hardly 3 months at a place.
Sorry, in which month did you take Ella 110?
It was August.
Do you still remember perhaps the date?
Yes, during
very
that
important
week,
day.
during that week of Women's Day holiday, that's when my sister took some days and was with her for a few days at home.
Well, I see a number of other differences between Ella 07 and Ella 110. Isn't it? There are obvious differences, right? You have the pictures before you.
Yes, I do. Those are two different people if you look closely at them.
Yeah.
And that's what's paint
And that's
us.
besides the complexion.
Yes, Justice.
She has low levels of circulation, so seemingly. But look at her hair. She's well groomed, isn't it?
In which big, Justice?
107.
107 is when she was still at Life
Yeah,
Renfontaine.
I'm comparing the two.
Yes,
with 110.
Justice. Yes, Justice.
Her clothing seems to fit her well.
Yes, Justice.
You can see her eyes. They actually sparkle. They are alive. You can see her eyes.
Yes, Justice.
And her eyes have considerably retreated into the sockets in 110, isn't it so?
Yes, Justice.
And she's well washed up. You can see that in 109. And the texture of her skin and the way she looks. In 110, she's quite a different human being, is she not?
That's a concern, Justice. That's why I'm saying it took Takalani to change my sister from that bubbly, sparkling sister that you see on 107. But like I'm saying, they took her to Takalani in May. My sister, because of the way she smelled whenever we visited her, decided to take her in August, beginning of August, but that's how she looked.
And in the one picture she smiles and in the other not. She actually looks quite worried in 110, L110.
Yes, Justice. As I had explained,
And she has lost a lot of weight.
when we visited her, she would jump and call names and be happy that we had visited her. But at Takalani, as she withdrew, she was so, I don't know what term to use.
Did she ever
was
talk?
lonely?
Did she ever talk to you?
Her speak is limited, Justice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mara nako ana le mo tlisitse ko gae, a tlo go nna le
And-
lona,
and
o
when
ile a
you-
bua le lona.
And when you took her home to come and visit, did she talk to you?
Hana conversations.
She does not have
Ke ta-
conversations.
ke fela gore she will say, I'm going.
She will
And-
only say, I'm going.
And her I'm going, it doesn't mean that she's going somewhere, she knows where she's going. That's the line that she like using. But when you ask her, what's your name? She knows that she's Julia. If you ask her, where's your mother? She would say, Uteng. So that's
She'll
why I'm
say
saying
she's present. That is what I'm saying.
her speech is limited. She won't just tell you that this and this happened. So she doesn't have much speech.
Yes, in L10 she looks like somebody who has had a very dehumanizing experience. If you compare with how well groomed and cleaned up she looked in L107. Do you
Yes.
agree with that?
Yes, Justice.
Anyway, continue. Carl.
Thank you, Justice. So, Ms. Baloi, observing these photos, ILA 107 and ILA 110, your sister was at Life in Ranfandi, where she was treated with dignity and she was receiving health care. At Takalane, observing these photos, was she treated with dignity and getting proper medication and looked after well?
At Takalani Justice, there was no care for our beloved. Because of the pictures that we see, Because of when we got there, most of the time, the patients were hungry, not only my sister. Hence, me saying there would come patients to give you a feedback of what was happening so that you can give them something to eat. Whenever you raised a question of medication, nobody responded to such question, Justice, that were they getting medication. You'll be referred to come during the week. I remember very well that I used to phone the social worker. There's a time I phoned several times asking about my sister's ID, Justice. And I was told that the social worker was on leave. So if she was on leave, nobody could respond to whether my sister's ID was there. So, Takalani,
Did you hear Dr. Manamela saying Takalani was a top NGO?
I did, Justice, I was here. I was in this very same room when she said that.
What do you say to that?
Ka Setswana, ha o re motho o mogolo o bua maaka.
In Setswana, you don't say an adult lies,
But, as in nnete eo,
but that is not the truth.
Takalani is not top. I'm going to mention this, Justice. I don't know if I'm right, but at Takalani, you find offense in that yard. You find the elderly, that's old age home. You find the physically challenged patients. Then they accepted our mentally challenged patients. And now they've accepted autism kids. So for me, it's not top because you can't mix 5 challenges in one place. That's what I feel, that at least if they were saying they've got, it's an orphanage, I would understand. But now, imagine what, like my sister was violent. Imagine what she could do to a child. If maybe one time they are paths crossed. I'm telling you, Justice, we used to run for our lives. And I remember, well, at home, it was before a Skanga King.
The field,
Yes.
open field.
And it was not open, my sister, because we would hide ourselves in the bushes until she was calmed down. Whether she calmed down at 9, it was not a problem for our parents because they had to make sure that she was calmed down first. Otherwise, she would fight everybody in the house. So imagine such a patient with an elderly who can't maybe walk properly, or someone in a wheelchair, or a child who is an orphan. That's why I was not only worried about my sister, but those as well that are in that yard. It was a serious concern. So Dr. Manamela said it's top-notch NGO. It's thumbed down when it comes to Takalani. It's not a good place for people that can't take care of themselves to be there. What I can say to you, Justice, is that when we go to Takalani day 1, the caregivers that were there, you could see that they did not even know what they were going to do with mentally challenged people. They were not equipped. They were not prepared before that they were going to get, because the questions that you would ask concerning mentally challenged people, they did not even understand them. So I'm saying no, it's not a top-notch NGO.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Baloy. When was she moved back from Takalani? That is
Well, before
Malindi.
moving her back to some place, you are aware that a number of people, patients died at Takalani.
Justice, my sister was at Takalani from May last year up to 11th of April 2017. Never were we told by the personnel at Takalani that, I mean, if there's a funeral, especially in our black culture, we do mention that, hey, it's so painful, we lost a member of the family. Because these patients, they are treated as members of family, like when we visited them at Randfontein. They knew them very well, they took care of them very well. But I don't remember going to Takalani and hear about that. We started hearing about this when it started coming out in the news, that there were deaths at Takalani, not one, not two, but many.
Why did you join the march?
Justice, my father passed away in 1990. He was the one who understood my sister's condition. My mother, yes, she was there for my sister until she passed on in 2011, but she was not that strong person. My sister is voiceless. If I did not join the march, who would have represented my sister and those that do not have family members that are mentally challenged? So that is why I would go to work, request at work. I remember there's a march. I hope my manager is not watching. I sneaked out at work because they said, no, you leave at this time. And I felt that I'm going to miss out. I had to leave. So that is why I joined, so that at least maybe we stop the movement. But unfortunate enough, it did happen.
Did your sister ever tell you, do you know whether she experienced the dying of any of her colleagues at Takalani?
Like I explained, Justice, that her speech is limited. She doesn't have conversations. She never did.
Okay, counsel.
Thank you, Justice. So you've said that your sister was at Takalani until the 11th of April 2017.
Yes, Justice.
Where was she moved to after leaving Takalani?
She was moved to Life Esidimeni Banning in Main Reef Road.
It was after the Ombudsman had released the report.
Yes, Justice.
There was an outbreak of typhoid at Takalani.
I don't understand the question, Justice.
We have a report here of an outbreak of typhoid at Takalani.
Okay, Justice.
Did you hear of it?
No, Justice.
Ke bolwetse bo bo etsang ke ditšhila.
It's a disease that is caused by death.
No, Justice. I never heard about it. When they were there, like I'm saying, information was not disclosed. They did not want us to see other patients. It's just that patients did come to us, but they did not want us to see the patients.
Counsel.
Thank you, Justice. So how is your sister now at Baneng?
She's much better when you look at her physically, but she's still withdrawn because I remember we visited her last month. She was as if she didn't know us. She was so lonely, but she was with us. We were with my sister that I say she's very fond of, Lefense. But when we arrived, she didn't jump, Mapule, Mapule, because that's what she usually do. And she sat with us for just a few minutes. She ate, then she wanted to leave. So she's coming, but still not there.
What effect it had to your family, this, what happened to your sister?
What I can say to you when it comes to family, we are traumatized about what happened to our sister. You know, whenever you heard somebody saying, my family member had passed away, before we slept with my sister, we would pray on the phone, asking ourselves that will we get a call that ours as well is normal because of how she looked, the care that she was not getting at Takalani Justice. The other issue is that I know somebody will say, you love your sister, don't talk about finances, Justice. It really charged on us when it came to finances. I remember day one when we visited my sister Justice. I got stuck at Takalani from around 1 o'clock. We left Takalani at around 7. And remember, I was with my daughter. She was not yet even 3 years old. She was 2 then. And it was raining, it was cold. So I had to go and buy a car quick. I never bought a car in installment before. But because of this situation, I had to. I was weighing the options that, what if I get a call at night that something has happened? You know, when they say your loved one has passed on, you don't want to wait for morning. You want to go now and see what's happening. Or if they say the patient is drastically sick. And then the visits that we're doing in Randfontein, we had to increase them at Takalani Justice.
And what was the distance between Tembisa and Randfontein?
Hey, Justice, I'm not good in in maths, but I know that when I'm driving through from Midrand to Takalani, I took about 45 minutes. Yes. So we had to increase the visits. We had to buy her clothes when we visited her because we knew that when we get there, Justice, she would not be looking presentable or the way we would like her to look neatly like us. You know, when you visit your loved one and you're wearing nice clothes, you feel so ashamed as if...
You have given us the answer.
Yes.
Yeah, it's an extension. I'm sure they'll ask you more if they want to hear more, but take it from there. I know you'd like to buy her clothes and you've already said it, right?
Thank you, Justice. What would you want to see out of this process now happening, which will benefit your brother, your sister, I beg your pardon?
Not only my sister, because we still have the little ones that are growing, that are challenged, like my sister's challenged, Justice. History must never repeat itself, Justice. We don't want to see this happening. I'm working with autism kids. They get lost, Justice. They roam, so you must observe them all the time. So let us account.
Where do you work with autistic children?
Here at JHS, Johannesburg Hospital School for Autism.
Oh, do you work there?
Yes, Justice. So I want us to really care for the mentally challenged, because if the person feels like just going out now, they do that. So let us tighten the care for the mentally challenged people. I hope it's going to happen in future so that history doesn't repeat itself. Other people came here, they told us that their loved ones were lost for days and they got home after, so it shouldn't happen again. Let justice be served. I don't know how justice is going to be served, but if it means somebody who is accountable on this goes to prison, let it happen. I know that people that have passed on want to come back, Justice. I know that what has happened to our sisters, like you see the photos of Malinzwi, is going to take time. Money won't buy it. But anything that can just make us to feel better, we need counseling, Justice. We don't sleep. Somebody asks you about a picture, you just break down. Sometimes you are just seated at home, you look at that, you break down. So we need counseling as well. So what I want to see from this, I hope again, the government will consider a monument so that people that come after us, the people that will be in the government in future, the monument will remind them that this had happened. So it shouldn't happen again. I hope that will be considered. And maybe I'll be content, I'm not sure. But that's what I would like to see happening.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate for taking time to come and give evidence. That is all, Justice.
Thank you, Mr. Skemi. Have you to say?
Thank you, Justice. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Afternoon.
You say that you participated in the marches. Did you interact with the other families at
Yes.
the time before, at the time of the marches?
Yes, Justice.
How much of interaction did you have with the other families?
I had a lot until we started having problems that I had to move behind a bit, because I was one of the people that even accompanied the leaders of this move to see the other NGOs. I did travel to Kalinin, I did go to Temba, and even in the marches we were so active, and we had a group chat where we shared information.
And
So
what-
I was part of that.
What was the concern of the other families? What was their main concern?
The main concern is that other family members still did not know where their loved ones were. Others had heard about the deaths, and we always panicked. Others were experiencing deaths because it would be announced in the group chat that so-and-so has lost a loved one. So they were, and even the care that our beloved were getting at those NGOs, it was a concern for us because we forever spoke about it. And the distance as well, because there were other family members that would raise a concern that I'm staying in Kagiso, my beloved is in Kalinin or wherever, so the distance was too much for them. So such concerns were there.
So there were different types of concerns.
Yes, Justice.
And were you a support for each other
Very much, Justice.
through the WhatsApp group or through any other means?
The WhatsApp groups, if we had to go for a meeting, we gave each other lifts, we gave each other consoling messages. It was all about that because we felt that we were having same problems, so we teamed up.
And when you participated in the marches and handed over memoranda, what did you expect from government?
When we started the first march, I think it was in February 2016, before the movement Justice, we were requesting that the movement be stopped because we were concerned about where they were taking our patients. We had another concern that will we be told where our loved ones are taken, as we were promised that yes, it will take maybe a week or 2 weeks planning, that they phone you, you go to see the NGO, and then you approve if it will work for you with going to visit them, or if it's okay for your loved one. But it didn't happen. The other issue, we thought our march would convince them, really, that these people really mean what they say when they say our loved ones are okay, so renew the contract with Life Esidimeni if it is possible, please.
You say you were here when Dr. Manamela testified, is that right?
Yes, Justice, I was here.
And Dr. Manamela said that they consulted, they being various people in the department who were in charge of this project, that they consulted with families during the process. What do you say to that?
I don't know, I'm not that good in English. I don't know what consultation really means, because I remember when we went to Shamla, NGO, I was there. And number one, the fence outside was very low. And I mentioned it that it's a concern for the safety of the patients. They would easily escape. And inside as well, it was not good looking, Justice. But it still continued. There were a lot of issues that we raised there, but it still continued. So I don't know what consultation.
But my question, let me explain. My question, what Dr. Manamela said was that they had meetings with the families prior to the transfer taking place and throughout the process.
Yes, Justice, that's where I'm going. Because they would tell us today that this is happening. This morning or yesterday evening, you get a message, there's going to be a go and check an NGO away. Other people don't have transport. So that's why I'm saying consultation, I don't know. They said we'll know after our patients were assessed. We were never even told. We don't know whether they were assessed or not. That is why I say maybe I don't understand what consultation means, but I don't remember it happening that well.
Do you feel that your concerns were being heard?
No, Justice.
And you say your sister was moved to Takalani in May 2016, is that right?
Yes, Justice.
Can I ask you to have a look at one of the exhibits, Ella 58? Do you have it?
Yes, Justice.
Do you see that this is a document that's prepared by the Gauteng Provincial Health Department?
Yes, Justice.
And the subject is Salmonella typhoid case. You see that?
Yes, Justice.
And it's dated 19 July 2016. So this is after your sister had already been admitted to Takalani.
Yes, she was there, Justice.
She was already there.
Yes, Justice.
This document describes incidents of typhoid illness that occurred at Takalani at the same time that your sister was there. And what's important, and what I would like to ask you about, is if you turn to page 2, and if you the lines are not numbered, but if you look at about 1, 2, 3 pages, 3 paragraphs from the bottom, can you see the person describes a patient? Patient presented with weakness and looked dull.
Yes, Justice.
And then 2 paragraphs down, just before the heading that says more suspected cases, it says, in reference to the same patient whose condition deteriorated, was gasping for air, skin was dehydrated, and sunken eyes. And there was something about this description that came to my mind when you were talking about your sister. Was her skin dehydrated to you? Did it appear dehydrated?
Yes, it was, Justice.
And her eyes from the photographs look sunken.
Yes.
Was that the same impression you had?
Yes, Justice.
And do you know whether your sister had been admitted to hospital at all during her time when she was at Takalani?
No, Justice.
You were not informed?
No, we were never informed.
On page 3, the author of this document describes the environment at Takalani under environmental assessment. Do you see that?
Yes. Yes, Justice.
Do you agree with the way in which the environment is described here? Sleeping area, for example, 6 patients share room, not enough personal space, hand washing basins not provided.
What I can say, Justice, like I explained, our movement when we visited was restricted. But what I saw were the beds when we passed on, going to the bathrooms. So
Okay.
the washing basins, I did not
You
see
wouldn't
them.
have seen, okay.
Yes. I don't
And
want to
as far as the dining hall went, you did go to the dining hall, is that correct?
Yes, day one we found them at the dining hall.
And
Just-
according to this person, it says there was a pungent, foul smell. And in other words, a nasty smell in the dining hall. Did you have that same experience?
Honestly speaking, it was day one when we got there. It wasn't that bad when it comes to cleanliness of the area, because we got there, we sat with them in there for a few minutes or so. Then that's where they took us to the site I'm talking about at the wards or their sleeping rooms.
And did you observe whether there was soap or hand washing facilities in the dining hall?
I didn't see any where we were seated. They were not visible. If they were there, maybe they were in the other area that was not, that I could not see.
But not in the dining hall?
No, I didn't see anything, Justice.
And did you visit the kitchen at all?
No, we didn't.
So you wouldn't be able to tell us anything about the kitchen?
No, Justice.
The outcome of this report was that, in essence, Takalani, the environment was so bad that it contributed to typhoid, an outbreak of typhoid at Takalani, and that's got to do with the cleanliness of the environment. Does that surprise you?
Looking at how my sister was, it doesn't surprise me. It's a pity that then, when I saw my sister, our concern was looking at her, and we did not even check whether it was a sickness or what. We thought that maybe she was not eating well. We thought that maybe she's losing weight of moving from one environment to the other. And they sat in the sun, basking on the sun. So for now, when I see this report, I think my sister was affected by it.
Do you think that your sister was sick, not just hungry?
There were days, like I'm saying, she would be so withdrawn. She would complain. She likes saying she wants to go to the doctor. So sometimes if she's saying, I'm sick, you would not even take her to consideration that much. But it might have happened that we overlooked what she was saying to us.
Did she tell you that she was sick?
Yes, like I'm saying, she likes saying, like doctor.
I'm sick, I want to go to the doctor.
Hence, when she said that to us when we visiting, we thought that it's her cue. She likes saying that. And then you promise her, I'll take you to the doctor. Then she gets excited that she'll be going somewhere. So maybe one time she told us, she said, I'm sick, because you would see that she would not be that happy. Possibly she was that sick. But there were days that we saw that she was not looking that good. She was not that bubbly. She was a different person that we knew.
Thank you. Thank you for making the time to testify today. I don't have any other questions, and I wish Julia well in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you, Justice. We have
Advocate Winnebald?
we have no questions for the
No
witness.
questions.
Thank you very much.
Advocate Gucha?
Thank you, Justice Msaneke. No questions.
Counsel Utamo?
Thank you, Justice. Ms. Baloi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We would like to extend the regret in the manner in which your sister Malinzi was transferred from Life Esidimeni to Takalani. I seem to understand that you indicated that she has now been returned to Life Esidimeni. Is that correct?
Yes, Justice.
We just want to say that through the input that you have given during your testimony, the government is taking that into account in an effort, together with the other family members, to correct the wrongs of the past which were committed, in order to ensure that the interests of the mental health care users are being looked after and proper service is given to them. We do not have questions to you, but we just want to thank you for making the time to express what you actually went through and what the future should be. Thank you.
Thank you. Justice, can I,
Akere wa itse gore o na le tetla go araba.
You know that you have the right to answer or to respond?
I've got one other concern, Justice. When our beloved were moved from Life Esidimeni, it was because Life Esidimeni's contract was cancelled. They are so expensive. The government cannot afford them anymore. Now, April 11th, my sister and the others are moved to Life Esidimeni again. But she said, but no more Randfontein. So a concern is this. Does the government has a contract with Life Esidimeni now? And for how long? So that we know that we are safe. We're not saying we are going to relax now, but at least we know, because we don't want to get another information soon that it's expiring again because of the expensiveness. Is it cheaper now? Can government afford it now? So that at least we know where we are at the moment.
Ba e tla ba re tla ba botsang jalo mma.
Ke a leboga.
There are those who are coming to, will ask those questions from them. I thank you.
The advocate doesn't give evidence, he makes submissions. Mara lebile gore ba itlhe ba bang ba na le kitso.
We are still
Ka madi.
waiting for the experts to come and testify here about monetary issues.
Go siama ke re tla bua ka tsona nako eo.
Fine, we'll talk about
Ke a
that
leboga.
later.
Ka go ke ntse se mo mafatla ke re ga re go ba le ka go re tshogile
Thank you,
gore
Justice,
gongwe
because
go tla
I've
diragala gape.
I've coughed out because we are having sleepless night. We think that is going to happen again.
Now you are one of the activists who resisted much of the marathon project. What do you think it was all about? What do you think was meant to be achieved by the project? I know you are not the decision maker, but you are a human being with eyes and ears and impressions. And after all said and done, what do you say? What was it about?
Ntate Moseneke, ga ke itse mara.
Justice Museneke, I don't know, but
Looking at
No,
what
she didn't
happened,
say justice, she said ntate, which is a good thing. She's saying father.
Father Museneke, I don't know, but
looking at what happened, ga ke itse gore ne re kata di costs
I
because
don't know if we were cutting costs because
were they going somewhere? I don't know. It's because ga o lwala mo tlhogong, you are not that important.
I don't know if you are mentally ill, you are not that important.
I don't know if you can't be treated humanly. You don't have rights in our country. Ga ke itse pa.
I don't know, Father. Yeah.
Because to me, it doesn't make sense. Bane ba ntse mo e leng gore they were very happy.
They were sitting there where they were very happy.
They looked beautiful. The next day, money was a concern. A ke itse,
I don't know.
mo lelapeng,
In a
go na le
family?
dilo tse e leng gore their needs, they are very important. You don't
There are
compromise
things
them.
that are very needy that you cannot compromise them.
So nna ke nagana gore ke nngwe e ne sa tshwana go compromise-iwa.
I think this one was not to be compromised.
That is why ke re, ga ke itse, was it about money?
That is why I say, I don't know if it was about money.
Or it was about us not knowing that they are just like us. Again, we call ourselves normal people. They are just like us.
Yeah, no, you have been to several NGOs in your activism. Do you have a view about who might have benefited, if anybody, financially?
That's a tough one, Tate Moseneke.
Go se ne dikakanyo ga o ne tsone.
Ga di-
Ne ke botsisa gore
You don't
a
have
o ne le
anything to
kakanyo
say?
ya gore e ka be e le gore ke mang wa boneng sengwe
According to
se
your
se tshwana
views,
le madi
who got money, who benefited, for example, like something like money? Who benefited in this thing, like money-wise?
Tate Moseneke,
Father Museneke?
there's an NGO we visited in Temba. It was not ready for patients. So, ga ke itse nka se re ke bula guest house gona no ke sena dilo.
I cannot say,
So, a ke itse gore a mme wa ntlo ele o benefitile in a way.
I don't know if I can register a guest house and open it now. I don't know the owner of that place, if she gained monetary, she benefited.
I don't know if Nana le somebody o mo rileng a re bula,
I don't know if
You-
there's somebody who said to
you will
her,
benefit something. A ke itse ba.
register this, you are going to benefit something. I don't know, Father,
Mara ya tshosa because
but it's scary.
they took risks tse leng gore le bone ne ba itse gore ba ka se kgone.
They took risks that they knew that they won't even tolerate those risks.
ba ne ba di nka ka lebaka mang
On what grounds did they take them?
gore ba bone eng bone
And for what are they going to benefit nor gain?
Ke nagana ke go ja ba tšhelete.
Money, it's money-wise, they wanted to benefit.
Because if like the patients they went there, actually I don't know if it was day one or what. The lady was complaining that there was no food. She's going to a funeral. She was like a big hectic, ne? But how do I accommodate more than 5-10 people in my house when I know that I can't cater for them? Unless I know that at the end I'm going to benefit something. Because the way they were, they didn't even have this concern. Ya gore, I wonder tšhelete e tlo tsena ka moso ke kgone gore
They
these people
did
should
not
eat or
have
what.
that concern that the money will be deposited and see what am I going to feed this patient with.
And there's an NGO that we visited. The lady, like I said, ka Setswana motho o motona ha maka, but
As I said in Setswana, an elderly person does not lie.
she said there were no live Esidimeni patients at her NGO. Their tracksuits, maroon and green. We saw it. And she said she didn't get any. She only had patients from her local area. But if you see live Esidimeni tracksuit, when you know it, you know there's a patient. And it was not one tracksuit. It was more than 3-4 there.
so kakanyo ya gago ke gore di NGO tse
According
di
to
ne
your,
di leka go dira madi
to your view,
Ke
these
nagana yalo pa.
NGOs wanted to gain monetary wise. That
Ke
is
nagana
my thought. That is my thought.
You have been here for some time now. You know that this is your last opportunity to say your final words before we release you from your witness stand.
I think as the country, we should remember Ubuntu and not just make drastic decisions because we say we want to save money, but in other instances, money is not saved. So, le rona, really the family members,
We also, as family members,
ke batla gore re ithute. I know that we always speak to each other, that we've learned a lot from this.
I know we must also get land. We must learn ourselves.
Re tshwanetse re treat the mentally disabled with dignity.
We must treat the mentally patient with dignity.
If ke tlo re ke berekela government
If I will say I'm working for the government
and I don't understand batho pele principles justice, then I might as well just pack my bag and go and do a private business or what. Because batho principle e tlhalosa sentle gore
but to pay the principal explain this
it's not about money,
properly.
it's about the person that you have to help at that moment. So we must learn as a country and rectify what happens now. Ke a leboga.
I thank you.
Ra go leboga, mma.
Thank you, madam.
You are released, yes, indeed. Counsel. You are done, Mr.
Justice,
Stevie, are you?
I'm done. Justice didn't ask if I've got a re-examination, but in any event, I didn't
My
have.
goodness, yes.
But
It's a right you have to, which you must exercise
yes,
if you want to. Do you?
no, I do not
We'll
have.
recall the
Justice.
witness, I beg
No,
your pardon.
no, Justice. I do not have a re-examination. My colleague, Advocate Krause, will take over, leading another witness.
I apologize, sorry.
Thank you, Justice.
Advocate Krause?
Thank you, Justice. We call Nomsa Khadebe. Her affidavit is ILA 106, ILA 106. She will testify in Sesotho. She says that she understands English sufficient to hear the question, but she will answer in her home language, and she will take the oath.
Just remind me of the Ella number again.
106, Justice.
106, thank you. Is it on? Thank you. Dumela mme.
Dumela, Tate Justice.
Ke kopa o bue maina a gago otlhe
Your full
mo
names,
recordong.
please. Please, your full names on record.
Lebitso la ka ke Elizabeth Nomsa Khatebe.
My name is Elizabeth Nomsa Khatebe.
O tlo bua ka leleme le lefe?
In which language are you going to testify?
Ke tlo bua ka Sesotho, Justice.
Sesotho Justice.
You swear that the evidence you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth? And if so, please raise your right hand and say, so help me God.
Mme Khatebe ra kopa hore o emisa setla sa hao sa ho ja, o so tlo neelanang ka sona mo e tlo nna nnete, nnete fela, nnete yotlhe re Modimo a o thusa.
Modimo nthusi,
Se bue nnete.
ke bue nnete.
Swan in.
Advocate Krause?
Thank you, Justice Museneche. Ms. Khadebe, thank you very much for making yourself available to testify.
Re lebogela ho tleng ha gago ka sheko Mme Khatebe o tlo fana ka bopaki.
Um,
Ke leboha, Justice.
Thank you, Justice.
Can I just establish from you, will it be in order if I put my questions in English and then you answer in Sesotho?
Go tla go siamela re ko botse dipotso ka English wena wa arabe ka Sesotho.
O tla nsiamela,
It
Justice.
will be suitable, Your Justice.
Just one housekeeping element. Paragraph 1 of your affidavit refers to an elderly female person. Do you see that?
Wa bona statements mo ngotseng hore o mogolo.
Miss Interpreter, it's not necessary to interpret my questions. Thank you.
Yes, ke a utlwisisa, Justice.
I understand, Justice.
And you're not an elderly female person.
Ha o mosadi mogolo.
Ke a utlwisisa, Justice.
I understand, Justice.
That we were hoping that your mother would make the affidavit.
Ne re tsaya gore mme ke ena nna ka dira statement seo.
Ke a utlwisisa, Justice, mme ha kgone ho tsamaya, wa lwala.
I understand, Justice. My mom is sick, she cannot walk.
Ke emetse on behalf of mme wa ka.
I'm here on behalf of my mother.
Yes, thank you very much, and we apologize for that.
Ra leboha, ebile re inele matsoho metsing.
Ke a leboha, Justice.
Thank you, Justice.
Your brother is Mantla David Khadebe, is that right?
Abuti wa gago ke Mandla David Khatebe.
Yes, Justice.
Justice Musehi, maybe just through you, if I could ask the interpreter not to interpret my questions.
Yes.
I know she's very efficient.
A ke re utlwile mme. O utlwa sekgowa le,
I've heard
I
it.
think the arrangement is quite efficient. It is fine.
All right,
Yes. Ms. Khadebe can hear the question, so she'll answer directly.
thank you.
But you have to remain alert to interpret her answer
Correct?
in Sesotho. Ke lebile mme. Okay.
Thank you, Justice. How old is Mantla David Khadebe now?
Mandla Khatebe, he is 45 years, Justice.
And did he go to school?
We let's call on Justice, a fella ko grade 7, Justice.
Yes, Justice, he attended school up until grade 7.
What happened to him then?
Justice Mandla Ola Bolaya Chomiai at the age of 16.
Mandla killed her friend at the age of 16.
And then?
And then Mandla was sent to juvenile up at 18 years.
He was
And-
still a juvenile and he then, up until he turned 18 years.
And then?
Then after attending 18 years, he was sentenced to 29 years.
And he was imprisoned.
Justice.
Yes, Justice?
Can you tell us when he was released from prison, more or less?
Mandla o released in 2008 Justice under medical parole.
And could you tell us what was wrong with him?
Mandla o diagnosed under schizophrenia.
He was diagnosed under schizophrenic.
Can he walk unassistedly?
Ke kopa o phethe question Justice.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes, can he walk alone?
Wa kgona ho tsamaya Mandla Justice.
He can walk on his own, Justice.
Can he feed himself?
Wa kgona ho itjesa Justice.
He can feed himself.
Can he talk?
No Justice, o bua dintho tse sa hlakaneng.
He does talk, but he does not talk anything that gives sense.
So when he speaks, it doesn't make sense.
Ha etse sense Justice. La o bua le yena, o bua ntho tse ikelang kwa.
He doesn't
Ha
make
bue ntho tse
sense.
etsang sense.
He just talks anything that goes the other way around. He doesn't talk anything that makes sense.
Does he have any children?
Ana bana Justice.
He does not have children
Because his whole life we spent in Tronkong at the age of 18 years until he was released 2008.
He spent his whole life in prison up until 2008.
And could you just tell us, after 2008, when he was released from prison, what happened to him then?
Mandla after 2008 was a patient called Baragwanath Chris Hani Hospital,
He was a patient at Baragwanath Chris Hani Hospital.
Sterfontein Hospital. Up and down, in and out, up and down, in and out, mentally ill.
And in 2014, he was admitted to life Esidimeni, is that right?
Yes, Justice. 2014, Naluko, Sterfontein, some transfer
2014, he was at Sterfontein. He was transferred to.
to Ramfontein Life Esidimeni because of NASA showing any progress
He was transferred
on his
to Life.
mental challenge illness.
He was transferred to Life Esidimeni Randfontein because he did not show any signs of life challenge while
And,
he was at Randfontein.
and how was he treated at Randfontein?
Mandla Justice ko Ramfontein na le right. Ne ke mo bona ha ke mo tjhaketsa le right a le motle. A bua
He was very fine when I used to visit him in Randfontein. He was very beautiful.
and I try even though
He tried.
a bue dintho tse sense but ha mpona Nomsa yo auswaka o ntletseng like very happy.
He was a very happy person. He'll come to me, although he did not speak anything that makes sense. He'll call my name. Nomsa, what did you bring along for me?
Ke re ko yana papa ko tletse dijo ko tletse toilet ko tletse le di underwear.
I'll tell him, Papa, I got food for you, toiletry and underwears.
Ms. Khadebe, he was then moved at a later stage, is that right?
I didn't.
Ke a dumela Justice.
I agree, Justice.
Now, you only knew where he was moved to in August, is that right? To 2016.
Ke a dumela Justice ho tlatsa mo
I agree, Justice. To add on that,
in June 2016 Justice.
in June 2016, Justice,
Ne ke etsa a major operation of a vocal cords
I went to make a major operation for vocal cords.
and ke la utlwa ko TV or Life Esidimeni is shut down.
I only heard over the TV that Life Esidimeni has been shut down.
You must tell me of your doctor with vocal cords.
Ke tla o jwetsa ntate Moseneke.
I'll tell you, Father Museneke.
And by June, can say this vocal cords are next bua
And by June, after the vocal cord operation, I couldn't speak
for 8 weeks.
for 8 weeks.
Kile go voice satswe after 2 operations.
My voice could not go out after 2 operations.
Ke batla ho find amandla ke sa tsebe ke tlo etsa jwang ke sa kgone ho bua
I
over the phone.
wanted to find out about Mandla. I could hardly speak over the phone.
Because
There's nothing that I could do.
Morena ke nna e leng hore ke hlokometse Mandla ko
Because-
hae.
Sir, I'm the one who's taking care of Mandla at home.
Ho etsahale morena wa ka Chief Justice
It happened, my Lord Chief Justice,
ka di 8 tsa August
on the 8th of August
2016
2016.
ke be betere.
I was then better.
Ke founele Sterfontein Hospital.
I then called Sterkfontein Hospital.
Ke bue le social worker by the name of Daphne.
I spoke to the social worker by the name of Daphne.
Ha ke bua le social worker ko Sterfan, I'm not sure, Chief, sorry to Kalibitso, can we refer to this affidavit for the
I'm not
name
sure about the name.
of the social
My
worker?
apology. Let's refer to as a social worker from this affidavit.
I'm going to interrupt you there, Ms. Radebe. Eventually, you found out where your brother was. Is that right?
Yeah, ke a dumela, Justice.
Yes, I agree, Justice.
It took you a day of phoning around.
It was a
Ke a dumela, Justice.
I
Ke
agree,
founile ka
Justice.
letsatsi.
And where did you find him?
o mo kry-ile ko kae?
Ke mo thotse social worker o itse o ko Bophelong in Sirman in Hammanskraal.
The social worker informed me that he is in Suruman in Hammanskraal.
Bophelong.
Bophelong.
And did you then go there?
Ke la founela ko Bophelong
I called Bophelong.
because social worker e la mfa di number tsa ko
The
Bophelong.
social worker finished me with a telephone number of Bophelong.
Ha ke founela Bophelong ba mpotsa hore Mandla Gadebe o teng. Ha ke tla before visit I must confirm and ke ba jwetse hore ke ya tla ke tlo bona Mandla.
Yes, they said Mandla is present at that institution, but when I come for visit, I must call them to confirm that I'm coming to visit Mandla.
Chief Justice ka ipotsa ko kelelong ya ka hore why ba re ke tlo visit Mandla tshwantse ke ba jwetse pele before
I
visit
asked myself this question.
hore ho etsahala eng.
Why, when I'm supposed to go and visit Mandla, I must call them and confirm what was happening?
Did you go there?
So,
Ke ile Chief
And were you
Yes.
still staying in Pimville, in Soweto?
Chief ntse ke dula ko
Yes.
Pimville.
So
Yes,
that would
Chief.
have been a trip of what? About 120 kilometers?
nearly,
Morena wa ka ke tsebe ka di kilometers but ha ba e bua ba re ke 100 kilometers from Pimville Soweto
I'm
to
not,
Hammanskraal.
I'm not certain about the kilometers, but if it's been said it's 100 kilos from Pimville to Hammanskraal.
Morena wa ka ka ya ka di 11th of September
My Lord, I went on the 11th of September,
Hammanskraal Bophelong.
Hammanskraal, Bophelong.
Did you find the place easily?
Pleke morena wa ka ke sokotse ho e thola ke batlile for 2 hours.
It was very hard for me to trace the place. It took me 2 hours to
Ke-
get to that place.
Ke botsa batho ba sa le tsebe lebitso la Bophelong.
I inquired from people who did not know about this name of Bophelong.
Ke botsa mo kerekeng ya ZCC ke botsa ko holong ya ko Bophelong unani hall community hall ba sa e tsebe Bophelong.
I asked from the ZCC church, from the Bophelong Hall, but the people there were not familiar. They didn't know that place.
Okay, you eventually arrived at the place. Is that right, Ms. Gadebe?
Ka thola Bophelong.
I then found Bophelong.
Can you just explain to the court how that place looked like?
Okay,
What
well,
type of place it is? What did you find there?
Hey, morena wa ka Bophelong is a nice place outside. Intle ke big house e kgolo.
Bophelong, it's a nice place outside. It's a big house, very big.
Gate ya teng e nyane morena.
The gate is very small, your Lord,
Lebotana
my
la
Lord.
teng le le nyane morena.
The wall is small, or
And ka ipotsa hore ha o na le batho ba mentally challenge. Ha e le hore ba baleya gate, ba jumpa gate, ba lahleya, ba baleya. And ke di-plaseng, morena wa ka.
I asked myself, how can you have a lower wall, a gate with mentally ill patient? When they escape, they are going to escape there, and that is in a farm or a plot.
And then morena wa ka, ra kena ka
My
mo
Lord,
ntlong.
I entered the house.
Chief Justice, re amoetse ke bomme ba i-4, ba baholo.
Chief Justice,
Bomme ba
4
baholo.
elderly ladies welcome mother figures welcome us. There were 4.
Bang amohela ka mo, it's a sitting room and a dining room, morena wa ka, Chief Justice.
Where they took me to the dining room, or it's a sitting room. That is where they welcomed me.
Chief Justice, be ba bitsa Mandla, Chief Justice.
Chief Justice, they then called Mandla.
We'll say, it's fine to say justice.
Justice.
Yes.
They called Mandla inside the house still. Before we get there, Ms. Khadebe, did you see how the rest of the place looked?
Morena, ke bone plek.
Yes, I saw the place, my Lord.
Okay, except for the house, what else was there?
Ke kene, ha ke kena, it's an open plan
I entered the house. It's an open plan.
with beautiful white sheets. The better side is single bed
It's a single bed with beautiful white sheets.
in an open plan wall. Beke kopa ho bona di mo di patients di robalang ko
I
teng.
then asked to see the sleeping place of the patients, their bedrooms.
Me oi one, I cannot recall libitso la hae.
One lady, I cannot recall her name.
Ampotsa hore Tshepiso o tsamaile ka ski.
She made a report to me that Tsepiso left with the keys.
Ba ba lokelletse ka mole ka mo morao.
They are locked there at the back.
And ba a ke tsebeng ka hlalosa ke re morena wa ka, ba ntse ba o mongwe ya kwa o mongwe ya kwa a ke re ke ba bone ka gate ke tlhodisitse ka mona.
I peeped through the gate, and I don't know how can I explain this, but they were moving up and down.
Are you speaking about the mental health care users?
Oh,
Ke bua ka bona,
yes, I'm talking
Justice.
about them, Justice.
And is this place that you say the key wasn't there, is it separate from the main house?
I separate ke ntlo e one
It's not separate, it's one house.
ka morao ke tsona di bedroom mo no dula 40 mental ill patients.
At the back is the rooms where 40 mental ill patients were housed.
Chief akso explain ha ba tlisa Mandla konna.
I've not yet explained the way when they brought Manda to me.
Yes, we'll get to that. I just want to make sure we understand how the situation looked. So the room where the people were sleeping were locked. Did you ever see the inside of that room?
Justice abantu mela again.
They didn't allow me to enter, Justice.
And you saw people roaming outside.
Ke dumela Justice.
Okay.
I agree, Justice.
Let us speak now about when Mantla David Khadebe was brought to you. What did you find?
Justice. Ne ke tsamaya le bana le monna ka.
I was with my family, my husband and the kids.
Mandla atla ba mo tlisa ko nna ke la screama ka lla haholo. The way na le ka teng.
When they brought him, I screamed and cried the manner in which he was.
Bomme ba ba re ko nna ke thole ka re nka se thole ke utlwile bohloko.
Those ladies asked me to be quiet, and I told them that no, I can't. This is hurting.
Mandla ngaka. Ang haka.
He hugged me.
Ang Mandla ang
He was smelly, very smelly.
a le skinny, a le ditshila,
He was skinny, he was dirty,
a le ditedu, a le
he had
meriri.
beard, he had long hair.
Long hair.
Meriri e meholo, like
Had
ba sa
big
mo
hair.
kuta,
They
le
didn't cut his
ditedu.
hair and his beard. They didn't shave his beard.
A re Nomsa, ke Mandla, re Nomsa, o nthotse jwang?
He asked me, Nomsa, how did you find me?
Ke re ke o batlile, Papa, ska wara.
I told him that I've searched for you and I finally find you.
A re ko nnang ke eng, re tsamaye re ye ko hae.
He said, please take me with you home.
You know that anytime you feel unwell, we will wait until you feel better. So just give me an indication whether you are able to go on.
Ke right, morena wa ka.
Siame,
I'm
okay.
fine, Justice.
Just ke bohloko bo ke la bo bona, ntate wa
Because
ka.
that is what I've seen was hurting.
Ba ke dula le yena ka mole sitting room ya teng ka di sofa tse ntle.
We were sitting, we went there at the sitting room with very beautiful
Ke tshwere
sofas.
dijo, morena wa ka.
I had food in my possession. He
Ke
hugged
tshwere
me.
le toiletry, morena wa
Toiletries.
ka. Then Tumelo ke ngwana ka o moholo first born ya ka.
My first child is Tumelo.
A re mama, bontate ba le ka mole ba lapile.
And she made a report to me that the other men on the other side
It's a
are
young, it's a
hungry.
young man, isn't it? It's a
Which
boy.
man?
15 year.
Oh,
15 year.
15-year-old
Old,
boy,
yes.
boy, yeah.
A re mama, ha re ba ntshetse dijo.
He said, Mom, let's give them food.
Tumelo ba ntshetsa borotho le cold drink.
Tumelo gave them bread and cold drink.
Just a moment, Ms. Khadebe, is that other patients that you're referring to now?
No, morena wa ka, it's my son that ne ke na le yena ko bophelong.
Let me
No,
just
it was my
establish,
son with whom I was at the institution.
to whom was the food given?
Dijo Tumelo file di mental ill patients.
He gave it to the mental ill patient.
Yes, and what happened?
That is other than his uncle.
Morena, ke
Yes.
malome wa hae.
Yes, it was his uncle.
Ba lwana-
Could I just perhaps, did you give food to your brother?
O file abu- ngwana ko nna dijo, malome dijo.
Malome ke mo file, nna lapile haholo Mandla.
I gave him food. He was very hungry.
A shake, a lo
He
shake.
was shaking.
Right hand eye always vele morena wa ka e dula e shake
His right hand is permanently shaking.
and na le worse ka tsatsi leo.
And he was very worse on
A re
that
ke tshwere
day.
ke tlala Nomsa.
And he said, Nomsa, I'm hungry.
Ms. Khadebe, and did you also give food to other patients that wasn't in the sitting room with you?
O file bo- balwetse-
Morena wa ka Tumelo o la ba fa borotho le cold drink.
Yes.
Tlhaloso ya gago mme e mpolella hore bontate ba bane ba dula ko morago ko di back
Your
room
explanations
bane ba sa dule mo ntlong ya di sofa tse ntle.
says to me that the other patient was staying at the back, not at this beautiful house with beautiful sofas.
Morena wa ka ke
Yes.
hlalosa jwalo.
Yes, Your
E
Worship,
jwalo
that is-
ntate wa ka.
Yes, that is what I'm explaining, Your Worship.
And what happened when the food were given to them?
Ba la lwanela borotho morena
They
wa ka.
fought for the
Le
bread
cold drink.
and the cold drink also.
Tumela re mama ba lwana.
Tumelo made a report to me and said, Mom, they're
Ba
fighting.
lwanela dijo mama.
They're fighting for the food.
Then ka re Tumelo ba tla ja, o tla ba right.
I told him that, Tumelo, they will eat, they will be fine.
Mandla morena wa ka a re Nomsa o tsamaya le nna.
Mandla pleaded with me and said, Nomsa, you are going back with me.
Ka re papa a ke kgone ke o tlisitswe ke life Esidimeni and a re tsebe hore o tlile jwang mo. And a ke na matla a o nka nna as ke le ausi wa hao.
I said, no, I can't. You were transferred here by Life Esidimeni, and I don't know the situation or the circumstances why they transferred you here. I don't have those powers as your sister.
Ne ke batla o mo nka but le monna ka Eda re Nomsa state se Mandla a leng ko sona o lwala haholo.
I wanted to take him. Even my husband said, Nomsa, the stage in which Manja is now in, he's very sick.
Ms. Gadebe, you said when you saw him for the first time that he was skinny. Can you give us an indication, what does that mean?
Morena wa ka Mandla, he's a size 40. Like bophelong ba hae.
In his entire life, he's a size 40.
And ha ke mo thola bophelong, I think the way na le skin cutting, he was at 28.
When I found him there at Bupulong, he was a size 28.
Very thin.
And you say that he was dirty? Can
Only-
you explain to us what you mean by that?
Ha ke re na le 30 morena wa ka, diaparo na di apere ne di tshila a nkga.
If I say he was dirty, the clothing was very dirty. He was smelly.
And his beard?
Ntjebe ya hae le kgolo,
It was very big, long.
meriri e sa kutiwa.
His hair was not shaven or cut.
Did you ask the persons, the people working there, what was going on?
Oba Botsisi,
Ke ba botsisise morena wa ka.
I asked them, my worship,
Justice is just fine, man. Interpreter. Stick with that, it's simple for everybody. Okay.
Ke ba botsisitse ba mpotsa hore ha bana funding.
I inquired from them, I asked them, and their reply was they don't have funding.
A re o ntsha from kopotleng ya hae
And-
hore a ba rekele dijo.
He uses his own money out of his pocket or her pocket to buy food for them.
Justice, ne le Sunday mantsiwa ke fitla, I think round about past 3 afternoon.
Justice, it was on a Sunday at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
No sna dijo
There
ka
were,
tlung.
there were no food inside the house.
Ka botsa bomme ba ba ifore, why ba sa ba phehela?
I asked the 4 ladies why did they not cook for them.
Ba re ba tlo e reka braai pack ko Checkers.
They said they are going to buy a braai pack from Checkers.
Then morena wa ka ne ke felletswe ke matla.
Justice, I was by then, I lost hope. I didn't have that strength.
Ke ipotsa hore a re mama o reka braai pack ka batho ba ba kana ho ja mang ho sala mang.
I asked myself, if this lady says she's going to buy a braai pack, who is going to get food and who's not going to get food?
And ya fitla ko kelelong ya ka hore ka nnete the way Mandla ke mo thotseng ka teng ha ho jewe.
And the manner in which I found Manja, I could determine that they are not eating.
Have you asked the people working there about the file or the medical file of Mantla?
Morena wa ka.
Yes, Justice.
Ha bang araba ba re ba ba isa tleliniking during the week ka van.
They didn't give me any answer. They said they take them to the clinic by van.
Ha bana medication ko Bophelong, ba ba isa ko local clinic during the week.
They don't have medication at Bophelong. They only take them to the clinic weekly.
And ha bana le di-file tsa bona morena
They
wa ka.
don't have their files.
Soon after that, or let me just go a little bit back, you really wanted to take Mantla home when you saw him there, wasn't that so?
Morena wa ka.
Yes, Justice.
What stopped you from doing that?
Ke la tshaba molao, 'cause ke sebetsa ka molao.
I was afraid of the law because I'm also working with the law.
And what was your husband's reaction to you wanting to take him home?
Ntate wa ko ntlong nna re re mo nke, then ka hana nna ka re
My,
tshwantse re follow up the procedures.
my husband wanted us to take him home, but I refused and told him that we must follow the procedures.
Ma'am, after that, in December 2016, he was moved from there, is that right?
December,
Justice,
yes, Justice.
Where was he moved to?
Bokang Sterfontein. Ke NGO le yona.
Bokang Sterfontein is also an NGO.
And how did things?
Council, that's December 2016.
Yes.
Yes. And how was he treated there?
Mandla ke mthotse a le betere ko Bokang.
When I found him at Bokang, he was very much better.
A kentse di tracksuit tsa NGO,
He was wearing the NGO tracksuit
le di slippers, le di kausi a le warm, a le much better than Bophelo.
He was wearing slippers and socks and a jacket. He was very much better and he was warm rather than at Bupilong.
And then after, in April 2017, he was again moved. Is that right?
Yeah, Justice.
Yes, Justice. Yes,
Where-
Justice.
Where was he moved to?
From Bokang, Starfontein, ba mutlusitse ba misa Selby Park Hospital.
From Bokang Hospital to Selby Park.
Is he still there?
Selby Park, okay.
Oko Selby Park Hospital.
Selby
now.
Park Hospital currently.
But tell me about Bokang. Where is it in relation to the premises of Sterkfontein?
That Justice Bokang e ka hara sepetlele.
Justice Bokang is inside the hospital.
Dintlo tse tse nkareng I can I ke kgone ho explain it. Go Sterfontein Hospital. It's a big institution.
Yes.
E kgolo.
I can't explain this place. There are houses. Sterkfontein is a big institution.
And my sighting come on right to nani dintlo, come on left to nani dintlo.
On the left and right, there are houses.
Bokang was on the right, yes, Sterfontein. How can I entrance as Sterfontein?
From
Justice.
the Sterkfontein entrance, that Bokang is on your right.
So they were using some of the residential facilities on Sterkfontein grounds.
Yeah, Justice.
Yes, Justice.
Council.
Thank you, Justice. Ma'am, if I could move a little bit forward to Selby Park Hospital, where he's currently. How is it going now?
Almost I go Selby very often, Justice.
I almost go very often at Selby, Justice.
Pampatla hore ke mo tlele di toiletries. Ntho tsa ho ja, like the shorts. Ke a mo rekela di shorts.
They asked me to bring along toiletry, food, and shorts for
and
him.
shoe, le dieta, ba
And
re ke
shoes.
ke a e etsa ntho e, ke a mo visita.
I do that and visit him.
O betere haholo, even though santsane a struggleisha, Justice.
He is very much better. Even now, though he's still struggling
Ka weight le kelello,
about
Justice.
his weight and his mental,
Kelello ya hae ha bue ntho tse phetseng,
about his
Justice.
mental status. He does not talk anything that gives sense.
He's still not making sense.
Hi, Sir Abulil.
Ha so ka bua le nna ntho e etsang sense,
He has
Justice.
never spoken with me anything that makes sense.
Is he still shaking?
Now let's all lie la right le betere, Justice.
The right hand is now better.
Ge re ka mmotsa Mandla, re Mandla, ho ne ho le jwang ko Bophelong?
If we can ask him, Mandla, how is it here in Bupilong?
A ka kgona go ipuella Mandla.
Can he speak for himself?
Justice, as ke hlalosa ntate wa ka, Mandla o very disturbed haholo. Ha tsebe le ho ikarabela, ha tsebe le ntho a e buang, ha tsebe hore eng ke eng, but nna wa kgona hore record nomsa, wa kgona hore record family, but speech, communication, ha
I
tsebe.
don't know how can I explain this, Justice. Mandla cannot recall anything. If he can only recall me, if by the speech, he cannot speak properly.
How far is Selby Park from your home now?
Hotsok,
A ke right ka di kilometers, distances. Pimville, Soweto, it's nearer Selby Park. Morena wa ka maybe a kang thusa in terms of the kilometers.
I'm not good with kilometers, no distance, but Soweto, Pimville, Selby Park, it's nearer. Maybe
Where's
Justice
Selby
can
Park?
help
Selby
me.
Park is here next to Selby.
Elof extension.
Yeah, from Pimville.
Yes.
I don't know, 35, 40 Ks.
For yeah.
And his SASA card and his ID book, do you know where those are?
Sasa,
Morena wa ka ke a tseba di kae?
I know Justice where they are.
Where are they?
Di ko Selby Park ko di social working.
At Selby Park with the social workers.
Yes. Ms. Khadebe, we see that you're very emotional about this. What effect did this whole move have, firstly, on you and your mother and the rest of your family, if you can take us through all of those?
Hey, Morena wa ka, this ilang affect her holistically, emotionally.
Justice, it affected me holistically, emotionally.
And even affect her msebetsing
It even affected me at work
because I'm the one who's taking all the burden. Yeah, man.
I'm the only one taking the whole burden of Mandla.
Because mme wa ka o hodile haholo
My mother is very old,
and mme wa ka wa kula.
sickly.
Ha kgone le ho tsamaya right now.
She can hardly walk right now.
I'm the one ke hlokometse Mandla.
I'm the one taking care of Mandla.
When Mandla was young and ultimately was charged, had he become schizophrenic already?
Mandla ha sentenciwa to prison naso kuli mentally.
When he was sentenced to prison, he was not yet diagnosed mentally ill.
Ke nahana hore ho dula bophelong ba ya sa le monyane ko tronkong
I think spending his whole youth life in prison,
ke yona ntho e lang mo etsang hore a kule ka hloho.
that caused his mental illness.
Because o tshwere a le monyane a le 16 years.
He was arrested and detained while he was still young at the age of 16.
A releaswa 2008. I'm not sure nale how many years.
He
ka
was
nako eo.
released 2008, and I cannot say for sure how old he was during his release.
Ka
All
medi-
in all, do you
On-
know how long he stayed in prison? That's an estimation.
19 years.
And a medical parole came out of his mental illness.
Ha ne re ya ko tronkong ne re mo thola a le sepetlele always.
Mostly when we visited him at the prison, he was in hospital.
Ba re ha ba mo understand ho etsahalang ka kelello ya hae.
And they say they cannot understand his mental status.
O bua le one wa rasa wa screamer.
He screams, talks alone, make noise. And
then-
that he does all these things being alone.
And then be ba bitsa mme wa ka tlo mo signela ka 2008.
My mom was called in to sign for him during 2008.
Thank you, Justice. Could you tell us what effect this has had on your mother? How is she affected by this?
Mme wa ka ha sana bophelo.
My mom's life is now at a stop.
Last year na kula haholo ka October.
During October last year, he was very sick.
Ne ke nahana ebile o tlo nsiya lefatsheng ke re ke tlo etsa jwang.
I even thought that we are going to she's going to die. And what am I going to do?
Ka lebaka la life Esidimeni.
Due to life Esidimeni's issues.
Ms. Khadebe, your children, were they affected by this at all?
Ke kopa o repeat potso ya hao.
Can you repeat that question?
Yes, your children that visited you, with you, were they affected by this at all?
Bana ba ka ba affectile morena wa ka.
My kids are affected, Justice.
In what manner?
Ha ba bona bana ha re a visit ba lla always ha ba bona malume wa bona.
When we go for a visit, they cry always when they see their uncle.
And malume wa bona la ntjwetsa hore o kopa ke mo nke ka di 24 tsa December this year. Ke a tlo ba le rona ko hae.
And the uncle asked me to take him along for a visit for the 24th.
tsa December 2017.
for the 24th of December 2017,
A tlo ba le rona hae.
so he can be with us at home,
A re sa tsamaile nako e telele kwa hae.
because he said that he left home some years back.
You talked about your 15-year-old son. How old are the other ones?
Tato o 13 years.
Tato, it's 13 years.
My twins are 2 years.
The twins are 2 years old.
But Justice nka se re my twins a kere ke bana. Ba mo bona malume ha ba tsebe niks.
The twins are kids. They just see him as uncle, uncle. They know nothing.
Ba tsebang haholo ka malume wa bona ke Tumelo le Thato.
Then those who knows about their uncle, it's Tumelo and Tato.
You were explaining about Mantla asking to come home for Christmas. Is that what you were saying?
Morena wa ka.
Yes, Justice.
And did you take him home?
Christmas di 24 is so fitlhe ke tlo mo nka.
The 24th is not yet due, but I'm going to take him along.
You want to take him home this coming Christmas, not the previous one.
Christmas even though ke na le bothata Justice ba Mandla is very violent.
Yes, this coming Christmas, 2017, but I have a problem of taking Mandla because he's too violent.
Walwana
He fights a lot.
thuba di window.
Breaks windows.
Na kwazi le mama ko hloohong.
He once stepped my mom on her head.
And so ke na ni fear ke a batla mo nka but ke na ni fear again hore hey a ke tsebe ke tseng ke a mbatla ko hae but ke a tshaba.
I want him home, but I'm afraid. I do have that fear, but I'm scared of him.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Garebe. Could you explain what you would want to see coming out of these arbitration hearings?
And ntho e ke batlang ho e bona Chief Justice call this life Esidimeni arbitration. Justice must be served.
What I want to see to be happening with life Esidimeni, justice must be served.
To the health officials, health department officials.
Anything else?
And if Waisala Chief Justice, ne ke kopa ba tshwariwe, ba kene ka hare,
If this
tronko.
can happen, these people must be arrested and be placed in jail.
Ba re costitse
They've
the
caused us,
families, ba lositseng bana ba bona, ba re naneng bona mo life.
they've caused us, for those who lost their family, their kids,
Ba phelang,
those who are the surviving,
ba ntse ba struggle hona tje ho ba right.
those who survive are still struggling to get right.
Due to this, ntho e ba e entseng, ba bapala ka maphelo a ba di families tsa rona.
Due to this, they're playing games with our family lives
At their own expenses.
Anything else that you want to see out of this?
Ke kopa o bona around the whole of South Africa, Chief
I want to
Justice,
see around the whole, what I want to see around the whole of South Africa,
batho ba ba kulang, ba nang le di-challenges, ba nang le
the
di-disabilities,
sick people, those who have challenges,
our senior
disability,
citizens,
our senior citizens,
bana ba banyane,
small kids,
especially nna ke sebetsa ka bana.
because especially me, I'm working with kids.
Ke kopa
O sebetsa kae, mma?
Where do you work, madam?
ke sebetsa ko social development.
The Government Department of Social Development. Yeah.
Ntate Justice.
Yes, Justice.
Ke kopa batho bao ba shebiwe,
Those people must be monitored.
ba hlokomelwe.
They must be taken care of.
Ba kulang, ba hlokomele, especially ba bantse ba le ko di-NGO. Re kopa this life Esidimeni tragedy never happen again.
Especially those at life Esidimeni, they must be taken care of.
And who assessiwe thoroughly, mo ba leng right now.
They must be assessed thoroughly right now where they are.
Who sendiwe di-inspector, dio assessor, di-NGO tse kaofela tse existang.
Inspectors must be sent out to go and inspect those NGOs
Tse ba phelang ba leng ko tsona.
where the surviving patients are.
We cannot afford to re ba lose le bona, se re lositse ba bang ba rona, ba di family members.
We cannot afford to lose them as we had lost some of our family members.
Ke se ke se kopang
That
ho
is my
Chief
request,
Justice.
Chief Justice.
Ms.
Thank
Gade-
you ever so much. Of course, in fact, my main task is also about compensation. If you get money, how are you going to use the money?
Tate Justice, ha re thola compensation ko government, tshwantse re etse ntho tse right for the mental, but those who have passed on and those who are living. I can't Tate Justice ha bo mandla like ha tsebe nix.
Kahle he. Chief Justice, for the compensation, the money should be used for those who survived and to the deceased family, because Mandla does not know anything.
And compensation eo, ne ke kopa di families di sebedise compensation eo ka tsela e tshwanetseng.
And that compensation, I'll plead with the family to use that money in a proper way.
Mostly ke fitisa condolences tsa ka ko ba hlokafetseng.
And mostly I'll pass my condolences to the bereaved family.
Nka rata ba ba hlokafetseng di families tsa bona di ba etsetse majwe.
I'll ask and plead with the family to erect tombstones for the family.
As a remembrance,
As a,
as o phumula dikeledi ke state.
as a remembrance and as a compensation from the state.
Ba ba etsetse ditulo tsa mo ba robetseng
They
di
must
be ditle.
make their place nice where they have now laid to peace.
With dignity ba robale hantle
With dignity, they must rest in peace
ka hlompho.
and dignity and respect.
How should I make sure that the money is in fact used for the survivors? Do you have any suggestion?
Hey morena wa ka e thata.
Justice is very difficult
Ko nna ha re le batho morena wa ka re tshwane.
because as people, we are different as people.
And the backgrounds tsa rona di tshwane
And
morena wa
our
ka.
backgrounds differs.
Le dikelello tsa rona di na le
Even
ka
our
tshwane.
status, mental status differs.
Ka ho a ke tsebe ntate wa ka hore nka e araba ke re.
But I don't know, my father, how am I going to answer this? How am I going to respond?
Ke a leboha, mme.
Thank you, lady.
Council, any further questions?
No further questions. Thank you, Justice Musineke.
Council Housing.
Thank you, Justice. Good afternoon, Mrs. Khadebe,
Afternoon, Justice.
Councillor.
Council. Did you say you work at the Department for Social Development?
Councillor,
Yes, Councillor.
Are you a social worker?
ke child and youth care worker. Child
I'm a child
and
care,
youth care
and
worker.
child youth care worker.
There are a number of government officials who were involved in this project, from the highest leaders to everybody else who implemented.
Morena wa ka.
Yes, Councillor.
If you were involved in this project, would you have felt that you would be able to say something to your seniors?
Ha ne ke le involved ko this marathon project.
If I was involved in this marathon project,
Ke motho o mong councillor,
I'm another person, Councillor.
ke motho o buang, ke a bua nna.
I'm a person who's very vocal,
And a ke rate ntho tse wrong.
and I
Di
don't
etsahale
want wrong things to happen
pela mahlo a ka.
in front of my eyes.
Ha ne ke le moo, ne nka kenya input
If I was there, I would have made an input
or suggestion before movement ya di patients.
Our suggestion before the movement of the patients.
Hore ba assess before o move batho, do an assessment before
They-
transferring patients.
They could have made an assessment before moving patients.
A proper assessment.
You mean assessment of the patients or assessment of the NGOs?
Assessment, councillor of the NGO.
The assessment of the NGO.
Thank you, Mrs. Karebe. I don't have any further questions for you. I'd just like to thank you for making the time, and I wish Mandla well.
Ke a leboha, councillor.
Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you,
Advocate
Justice.
Groenewald.
We have no questions
There
for
are
the
no
witness.
questions. Advocate Guchan.
Thank you, Justice. There's just one question I want to find out from you. If you don't know, please do say so. As a caregiver for that is within the social department, social development department, are you aware whether any of these NGOs, not specifically this one, but any other NGO within the province, are receiving subsidies from your department?
And Kupa, repeat
Can
the
you
question
repeat the
now,
question?
councillor.
Are you aware of any NGO receiving subsidies from your department?
I can, bohlatsi, bantu a ke
I don't-
tsebe, councillor.
Broad
don't
question,
know.
Council.
Don't you have an NGO that you work with as a department?
Re sebetsa ka di NGO, councillor.
We do work with NGOs, Councillor.
And the NGO di fundiwa ke social development department.
NGOs are being funded by the Department of Social Development.
And what do they do, those NGO?
Most of NGOs, councillor, ba sebetsa ka orphans and vulnerable children.
Most of the NGOs works with orphans and vulnerable kids, children.
HBC, like, ha ke hlalosa HBC,
I
it's
can
a-
explain HBC, what does that mean?
it's an NGO that e leng hore e sebetsa ka di families.
It's an NGO that works with families.
Tse re ba fa di food parcels.
We give them food parcels.
Tse ding ke di OVC, it's orphan and vulnerable children, most of them. Children affected and infected by HIV and AIDS.
And how do you support them?
Re ba fa funding, councillor,
We give them funding, Councillor,
hore ba etse di needs tsa bana ba
so
di
that
orphans.
they can make the needs of the orphan kids.
And Rona as officials, councillor,
We as officials,
we do home on-site visit
We
on, nka se re on a monthly basis.
we do home visit, site home visit. I cannot say on monthly basis.
Because re ba jwetse la re fitla,
We don't even inform them when
For
we visit
inspection.
them for inspection.
we just pop, go NGO.
We just pop in at an
We
NGO
check whether they're doing the right things
to check if they're doing the right thing
for bana.
for the kids.
Le tšhelete e re ba fandang yona ba etsa ntho tse right for bana.
And the money that we fund them with, whether they utilize them for the kids.
Okay. And I'm sure that before you contract with these NGOs, you would register them and their pre-registration requirements. And
Ke a dumela.
what would be those requirements be?
I agree with you.
Ke a dumela councillor wa ka, na eo e ka araba ke baholo ba ka, ke tsebe procedure
I don't
ya
know the-
registering an NPO.
I don't know the procedure of registering an NPO. My seniors can answer to that question.
Then out of those NGOs which you work with, have you not had an occasion that one of the NGOs which we have dealt with here, I'm sure you have been listening to evidence here,
Yeah,
was also
councillor.
registered with your department?
councillor ke a dumela ka nako nngwe ne ke sa le yo mo arbitration.
I
Ke a
agree with
tla.
you, Councillor. Sometimes I was
Nako
not
ke
present.
mosebetsing, ha ke kopile for annual leave, I'm here. So I can say it's which NGO, councillor?
I cannot say, Councillor, because sometimes I'm here, sometimes I take leave to be present. I don't know which councillor was it. Sorry, which NGO was it?
And
We
how
are
much?
on the border of relevance.
Yeah, no.
We really are on the border. You have to
Yes.
indicate what you're seeking to achieve
No, I wanted to find out whether
about
any.
the official role of this witness who's here in a very specific personal family role.
Yes, Justice. No, I wanted to find out whether there's no possibility that any of these NGOs were double dipping from the social department as she works from.
Yeah, we'll have to find a witness
yeah.
that can talk to that.
No, thank you, Justice Msana. Nothing further for
Yes.
this witness.
Thank you. Advocate Utam.
Ms. Khadebe, good afternoon.
Afternoon, councillor.
We would like to thank you for coming through these proceedings and share with us the pain that you went through in relation to the transfer of your brother Mandla. And it is through these testimonies that the government is able to pay attention to those areas that it has failed. And we hope that this arbitration proceedings will lead us to that direction. And we are really sorry for how things occurred, but we hope that things will be done better. I understand you have stated that your brother now has been relocated to Selby Park Hospital,
Yeah, council.
and he appears to be recovering, although like he's still struggling in some other areas.
Yeah, council.
Yes. We really wish him speedy recovery and hope that like he'll get well soon, and let us hold each other through this process, and we hope to find closure. Thank you for coming through.
Ke a leboha, council.
Thank you, Council.
No questions, Justice?
Thank you. Any re-examination?
No re-examination. Thank you, Justice.
You now have the opportunity to say whatever you may choose to say just before you are asked to leave the witness stand.
Ke rata ho leboha
I'd like to thank
Chief Justice Moseneke,
Chief Justice Museneke,
Section 27,
Section 27,
Legal Aid South Africa, families, my colleagues at Social Development for giving me support through this. Tsela e ne ke tsamaya.
this path which I was walking in.
Ke rata ho hopotsa hape lefatshe,
I also want to remind the world
batho pele principle.
that to pay people first principle,
Re tshwanetse re practice.
we must practice it.
As rona re wes really government employees
Especially we as government
or the
employees,
public servants.
for the public servant,
We should tshwanetse re sebeletse lefatshe, community.
we should work for the world, for the
Ha wa
community.
tlamela re bolaye.
We are not supposed to kill.
Tshwanetse re be le community ya rona ka nako tsohle.
We must be with our community
Protect
the
them.
whole time, protect them.
Give them support. Especially bakudi ba rona ba kulang ka bolwetse ba hloho.
Especially the mentally ill patient.
government ya rona e ska nka nkare, they cannot raise their voice.
The government must not take chance that because they cannot raise their voice.
Re teng rona,
We are there
di families tsa bona.
for the families are there for them.
Re kopa life Esidimeni tragedy never happen again.
We request that a life Esidimeni tragedy must not repeat itself
In the whole of South Africa. Ke a leboha,
I thank you.
Chief Justice
Chief
Moseneke.
Justice Moseneke,
Ke a leboha mme, ho lebohile
I
nna.
thank you.
And thank you for
Madam.
coming out. Already everybody has told you how valuable this is. We're trying, we're on a healing path. But we're also on a path to determine what is just and equitable compensation. Where I work, we have a scale. I've always seen the symbol of a scale in justice. So justice to be served, when there are serious breaches of rights, the scale sits like that. And those who have the power to make decisions have to try and get the scale to an equilibrium. Because life ought to be at an equilibrium where we all try and do good. And if goodness is breached, the scale tilts and it needs to be brought back. So you are helping to do that, and thank you for coming.
Ke a leboha Ntate Justice.
Your brother must get better.
Thank you, Chief.
I know something about going to prison at his age.
Thank you, Chief.
And I wish him well. I wish him good luck.
Thank you, Chief.
I was luckier than him.
Ke a leboha Baba.
Okay, hantle man.
Okay.
Justice, we have one more witness for today, if we may. It's not going to be a very long witness. It's going to be a shorter version, I hope, if I may continue.
Don't keep the witness short for that reason.
No, not for that reason, but he will be shorter than the previous two.
We kind of agreed that we're going to sit late, right? So we should be able to make the time we set for ourselves.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate the indulgence to call our witness. We're calling Modiane Yane Abram Maditsi. His affidavit is at LR 101, Justice. He will testify in Sepedi and he will take the oath.
Morena Maditsi, Tobela,
Tobela Re Justice,
le kae hle?
Re a phela lena le kae?
No, le kae.
Good afternoon, and how are you?
Would you put your full names on record, please?
Re kopa o re fe maina ao ka botlalo Ntate Maditsi.
Maina ka botlalo ke Modianyane Maditsi.
And in what language do you want to testify?
O tlo fa bohlatse ka Ntate Maditsi.
Ke tla fa bohlatse ka Sepedi.
Speed. Do you swear that the evidence you are about to give will be the truth, nothing but the truth? And if so, please raise your right hand and say, so help me God.
Wa ikana hore bohlatse bo tlo neelanang ka bona mo e tlo ba nnete, nnete ka moka nnete yohle. Re Modimo a go thuse wa pe nnete.
So help me God.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Justice. Mr. Modetsi, thank you very much for being willing to tell your story here. I know that it doesn't come easy to you to speak here.
Ntate Maditsi ra leba go tla o tlo fa bohlatse ba ga mo ra tseba re ka se ka nna bonolo gore le kgone go bolela kere.
Thank you, Justice.
You have, sorry, there's a mental health care user in your family, is that correct?
Go na le mongwe a phelang o a leng gore o mo ke molwetse wa tlhaloganyo ka mo familing ya eno, ka mo lelokong la gago, Ntate Maditsi.
Ke nnete,
Correct. Who is that?
Ke mang?
ke Kgotso Maditsi.
Kgotso Maditsi.
And how is she related to you?
Ke eng le wena Kgotso Maditsi?
Ke mtlogolo wa ka,
It's my grand, ke moshimane re ke ngwanyana.
ke ngwanyana.
It's my niece,
Your sister's child.
ngwana wa moratho wa sister ya gago.
Go jwalo,
That's correct.
Justice.
Just tell us briefly about your sister.
Re hlalosetse ka sister ya gago,
Why is she not testifying today?
goreng a sa tle a tlo neelana ka bopaki.
Kgaitsedi ya ka o bile affected ka morago ga ge go snotjwa a report ya Professor Makgoba. He must- yeah.
My sister was affected after Professor Makgoba's report.
O ile a ba a feleletša a na le a tshwere ke cancer.
She ended being diagnosed with cancer.
That's why she could not be here at the moment. I'm representing her.
Mr. Matiti, how old is Kotso now, your niece?
Motlogolo ha o na le dijara tse kae gone jaanong, Ntate Maditsi?
Ngwana banong o na le dijara tše 40.
40 years. 40 years.
Can she speak?
O kgona ho bolela?
No, a kgone go bolela.
No, she cannot speak.
Can she walk?
O kgona ho sepela?
Wa kgona, but ge o mo swareleditše.
She can walk, but with somebody's help to balance her.
Can she eat on her own?
O kgona ho ijesa?
No, a kgone go dijesa yena ka bo yena.
No, she cannot feed herself.
Can she look after herself at all?
O kgona ho itlhokomela?
No, a
No,
kgone.
she cannot.
And since when has she been like this?
Ho tloga neng a le bjatje?
O tloge ka matswalo a gagwe o tšwetše a le fela so.
Since birth.
And she has been institutionalized for some time, is that not
Go
so?
na le ko neng a sele a ilo nna ko teng for sebakanyana se se rileng. Go bjatje?
Go jalo, Judge.
That's correct, Justice.
It was first at the East Rand Care Center
Sa malama thomo na le ko East Rand Care Center.
when she was still a child, is that
Nako
so?
sampane le ngwana, le mboa.
Go bile jalo,
That's correct.
Justice.
And since 2005,
Ho tloga
she's been at Randfontein, Life
Right.
Esidimeni, is that correct?
2005, ntse a le ko Randfontein ko Life Esidimeni.
Go
Ke
jwalo,
nnete,
Justice.
correct?
Mr. Maditse, she was moved at some stage to Takalani, is that right?
O se la tlosiwa a isiwa Takalane, go bjalo.
Go jalo, o
Correct.
isitše ko Takalane.
She was placed, transferred to Takalane.
Now, we know that it happened around about July 2016, and we know that your sister visited her, but I want to talk to you the time that you went there.
Re tlo re na le koho, o se la tlosiwa a fihla ko fihla ka 2016, and ne bomma ne banna ba ya ba ilo mo etela. So re tla mo temaneng ya hore wena o no se le wa ya ko teng.
What did you find there?
O kry-ile eng ko teng, Tate Maditsi?
Oh, sorry, could I ask you when did you go there?
O ile neng ko o ilo mo etela?
Okay, bopaki jwa ka ko gore ga ke e be ke sa interacte le yena for nako e ntšhi, that's why ba re o hlaolositše gore ne bopaki jwa ka ke gore o tla ba jo bonnyane.
I did not interact with her for a long time. As you have already stated earlier on that my evidence won't be long.
Ke thomile e be ke re mo visitela le di family a sa le ko Esidimeni.
We used to pay her visit while she was at Esidimeni with family members.
Ke tšere nakonyana ke sa be le bona the other families ge ba mo etela.
It took me long not to accompany the other family members who used to visit her.
Ka dile ke ile o rile o tloga ka Randfontein ba mo transfera ka Takalane.
From Randfontein, she was transferred to Takalani.
Wa bile le di visit tše pedi tšeo the family members ba ile go ba mo visitela.
There were other 2 visits that family members paid her a visit.
Let us get to when you got there. When did you go there, Mr.
A re tla mo tabeng ya wena o
Maditsi?
ile neng, Ntate Maditsi?
Ke ile ka September 2016.
September 2016.
And what did you find?
O le kry-ile go le bjang? O kry-ile eng?
Re kry-ile ngwana a sa re kgahle ka ge ba ile ba re the first 2 visit ge ba ile ba fa report ke bile gona on that day.
We were not happy about the child's condition because the second report, I was present when they gave us that report.
Yes. Well, let us go to your September, October visit to Takalani.
A re boele mo
What did
tabeng
you
ya
find?
September, October ko Takalane, ke eng se le se hweditse mo?
Takalane e be go kry-ile ngwana a sa re kgahle a le a different person altogether
We
as
were-
compared to us a le ko Esidimeni
We were
ko
not happy
Randfontein.
about the child's condition at Takalani. She was not happy like when she was at Randfontein at Esidimeni.
And ke mo rile go re decide gore no because ga mnate ga gona le selo se se re khatlang ka ena. We decided gore no re mo tšee.
As we could see that she was not happy and there was nothing happy about her at that institution, we decided to take her home.
Yes, let me just ask you, did she gain weight? Did she lose weight? Did the weights remain the same?
O be a lositse weight
She
a
had
le
lost
ditšhila,
weight.
a sena le it was called at that day but o ba se ba apariswa diaparo tše e leng gore di borutho mo
She
go.
was not happy, she was dirty. It was cold on that day and she did not have warm clothes on her.
How was she smelling?
Mo nkgono le bjang, Ntate Maditsi?
E be o nkga very bad.
Very bad. It
Mo
was
e leng
really,
gore you cannot even stand for it.
you cannot even stand for it.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
The smell was so bad that you cannot even stand for it.
Thank you. And you said you decided to take her home on that day.
Tshwetso ya gore la mo tšea le a le ena gae.
Re tšere sephetho seo sa gore re tsamaye le ena re ye le ena ko gae.
We decided to
Judge.
take her home. That was our decision.
Why did you decide to do that?
Gore le tsere sephetho seo sa re lemiša gae.
Re lemogile gore no mo tshwaro ya bona ngwana o be a bontsha gore a ka se phele ka mogolo.
There was no care there and you could see that she cannot survive that situation.
Did you have somebody at home to look after her?
Ho na le motho ko hae wa mo tlhokometseng.
Nne go sena le motho ya mhlokometsego.
There was no
Ko
one
ntlong.
to take care of her at home.
Before you took her away from Takalani, did you ask them for a medical file or medicine, things like that?
Pele le mo tsaya ko Takalane, le khopetse file ya hae, melemo ya hae, ditlhare tsa hae.
Re kgopetse file ya gagwe ka o tseba gore ge re mo tšea wherever re ilo misa gona the doctor on the other side o tlo nyaka o tseba gore na file ya ngwana o kae ba mo diagnositše jwang.
We asked the file because we wanted to take her to another institution because where we arrived with her, the doctor would like to know how was she diagnosed.
And what was the answer to the file that you
Karabo mo
wanted?
tabeng ya file e nnile eng?
Karabo ko gore bona ga ba transfera ko Takalane ga ba sanka ba tla ka di-file tsa bona.
The answer was when she was transferred to Takalani, she was not transferred with her file.
Could they supply any medicine to you?
Ditlhare tsa hae ba le file tsona?
Ba re supplyile ka medicine o bo o nkang ka hardly 2 weeks.
They supplied
Dipilisi
us
tsa
with
bona.
medication that could only last for 2 weeks.
Now you said you
And
didn't.
they would be the staff at Takalani.
Daily staff sa gona sa Takalani.
Ke staff sa gona, you mean
You say you were given medication for 2 weeks.
Wa re ba le file ditlhare tsa etsa 2
Yeah.
weeks.
I just want to make it clear on the record that it's the staff at Takalani
go
that
jwalo
provided
justice,
the medicine.
go jwalo
That's
justice.
correct, Justice.
Mr. Maditsi, you said there was nobody to care for at home.
Wa re no sena motho o neng a ka mo hlokomela ko gae.
So what did you do?
Le diile bjane.
O be go sena le motho o a mo hlokomelang ka gae. Ke kgonne go ba le ena ko ntlong ka ge e le gore ke ile ka latlhegelwa ke mosebetsi.
There was no one to take care of her at home, but I took her with me to my house as I've lost my work.
So ke kgonne go mo hlokomela for nakonyana yeo mara ka ra kwešiša gore no motho ona a se o re ka kgonang go mo handle.
We took care of her for a short period, but we realized that this is a person that we cannot handle her.
Eventually re feditse re kry-ile one of the family members ko Limpopo gore a ile mo hlokomela jwale ka ge e le gore nna ke sa nyakana le mosebetsi ga a gona.
Eventually, we got a family member from Limpopo who can take care of her as I was busy looking for a work.
Did you have to pay this family member to care for your niece?
Leloko leo ne le tshwanetse le mo patele gore a hlokomele motlogolo wa lena.
Go jwalo justice.
That's correct, Justice.
How much did you pay the family member?
Motho o ne le mo fa bokae?
Ne ke mo patela 3,000 per month.
3,000 rand per month.
And Limpopo is quite far away from where you stay, is that not so?
Limpopo e kgole le mo le dulang gona.
Ga botse justice.
That's correct, Justice.
Is it also far away from where your sister stays?
Ebile ke kgole le mo motlogolo wa lena a nnang gona.
Go jwalo justice.
Correct, Justice.
Now, after the Ombuds report came out, have you tried to get a placement closer to home for your niece again?
Morago ga Ombuds report se le wa leka gore o batlele motlogolo madulo mo a ka isiwang gona.
Re nyakile placement jwale ka ge re tsebile gore ne ga bana le file e ge re ya ka transfer ge re transferela ka saeteng ya Limpopo ga gona le file e re tsamailego ka ena ka mo.
We wanted placement for her, and when we looked for a place for her, we didn't have a file with her. They did not give us her file.
So we came back right gore after ge go seno ba le announcement ke Gauteng provincial ya gore go na le some space in some of the hospitals tše e leng gore ba nyaka go placea bana ba tlago ko Esidimeni.
Then after there was an announcement that from the hospitals in Gauteng that they want to place the patients from Life Esidimeni
Into hospitals?
mo dipetleleng.
Yes.
Yes.
And then?
E be le gore morago ga moo,
O be go le morago ga moo re tsamaile ra ko department ya health
thereafter we went to the health department.
ra kry-a one of the officials tša department by the name of Mr. Vafana.
We went there and found one of the officials by the name of Bafana.
And then he sent us to the family members, the family committee members by leng gore ba ka re assista ka
The
taba tša
family
placement.
committee members who can assist us with the placement.
And then we went to Rileka ka departmenteng ya bo Thobane right down ko ena ya health department ya bona bo Manamela.
We then went to Tobani's department, health department of Manamela.
We tried to put our case to them or na gabotsinyana, which way can we take
We
if this is the
placed
case.
our case to them and asked, how can we deal with this case?
Mara up to so far, they send us from pillar to post. Are so clear up to now, are so clear placement. ya
Up
ngwana
until
o.
now, we had not yet been finished with the placement of this patient.
Have you spoken to Dr. Malamela at all?
No, we were, sorry. Really rafiwa di phone number tsa hae ge re mo founela. Di phone tsa gona ne di sa kene at
We
all.
were finished with their numbers, but when we called them, the phone was permanently engaged.
Did you speak to Dr. Malamela's successor?
O kile wa bolela le molatedi wa latellang Mama Namela, Dr. Manamela.
Go jwalo, Justice.
That's correct, Justice.
And have you been successful at all?
O sele wa phumella mo tabeng ya gago.
Ga re so be successful, mara yona process ya le ena re thomile gana bjanong gaufinyana.
We are not yet successful, but we have started with the process just recently.
Mara le ena o re makatsa because o rile sontsho re kry a transfer letter from the institution e a leng gona ko Limpopo.
She said she wanted a transfer letter from the institution where she's been placed now in Limpopo.
The social worker and the doctor on the other side, ba re file
The social worker and the doctor
fill
had
that
finished us
letter.
with the transfer letter.
and then
Is she at an institution in Limpopo?
no, it's sorry, can you come?
Yeah.
It's just a local clinic.
But she still stays at home.
She still stays at home.
And are you satisfied that that's the best for her to stay in Limpopo at home?
No, not at all, Justice.
Why do you say this?
Re duma ge a ka placeiwa jwale ka ba bangwe kaofela.
We
Go
wish-
tshwana kana le Professor Makgoba ga testifier o rile every mental health ba place it, but we haven't placed as yet.
We will be very much satisfied if she can be placed, like Professor Makoba's testimony that a mental health patient should be placed, but we had not yet been placed.
And your sister, is she well enough to travel to Limpopo?
Oh, se o lokile mo mmeleng wa gore a ka travelela Limpopo.
No, she's a felelela gantle mo mmeleng.
She's not physically well on her body.
How has this affected your family?
Taba e amile bang familia maloko a lelapa.
E re swere hampe ka ge e le gore e mengwe ya mediro ya ka mo lapeng re palela ko go etsa ka baka la ge e le gore re swantse gore
It
re
affected us
re
badly
ca-
because
re
some of the family chores, we cannot do them.
Could you just repeat that? Sorry, I couldn't
We
hear.
cannot do some of our rituals because this disturbs us.
Yes. And how does your sister feel about her daughter being so far away?
Mare molwetse ena o ikutlwa a le bjang tate?
mmago molwetse bjale ka ge e le motswadi wa gae o batla ngwana a le gaufi le ena, but ga gona le ka mokgwa a ka irang ka gona ka gore
My
le
s-
ena wa kula ga phela
My
gabotse.
sister, as a parent, want her daughter to be placed, and she's also physically ill. It affects her negatively.
And you said that you are currently not working.
Wa re gona eno a o šome.
Gona bjanong ga ke šome.
I'm currently unemployed,
But this caused a financial burden on you.
and ya go tshwenya ka mo tabeng ya ditšhelete.
E ntshwenya gagolo ka mo tabeng ya ditšhelete.
It affects me very badly financially.
Yes. Mr. Maditse, what do you want to see happen through this process of the arbitration.
Ntate Maditsi, wena o batla o bona le hore ho diragale eng ka tsela e ntse re tsamaisa arbitration ya borena?
Ke duma ge go ka ba le redress ka some of the issues tše e leng
I
gore di
wish
gona.
that can be a redress with some of the issues that we had experienced.
What do you want for your niece out of
Wena o
this?
batlela motlogolo wa hao eng, Ntate Maditsi?
Ke duma ge a ka placeiwa in one of those mo go tšona bo Esidimeni
I wish that she can
life
be
Esidimeni
placed
institutions
at one of the institution like Life Esidimeni institution,
ka ge e le gore peleng o be ba dutse gabotse go sena le bothata.
because firstly she was being placed there and there was no problem.
What do you want for your sister out of this arbitration process?
Mo tabeng ya arbitration mmahe ngwana ene o batla hore a ka direlwa eng?
Gopola gore ka redress e ka ba taba ya gore a ka cancelwa
With the redress issue she can be cancelled.
And so for yourself, what do you want out of this process?
Wena o batla eng hore o ka ungwelwa eng mo tsamaisong e Ntate Maditsi?
Come again?
O ka kgopela hore mo tsamaisong ya arbitration e le ka direlwa eng kgotsa wena o ka ungwelwa ke eng?
Okay, taba ya gore ke latlhegetswe ke tšhelete jwale ka ge e le gore
I've lost money.
ke patelana le tšhelete ya ngwana o for motho o a mo hlokometsego.
I'm paying the person who's taking care of her.
If that money could come back to me, I think it will be some sort of redress.
If that money can come back to me, it can be a sort of redress.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want to see come out of this process for the broader public?
Ke eng se batlang ho bona se direlwa public yotlhe?
Ya, seo ke dumilego gore se ka ke duma nkebe se direga
What I wish that can happen,
because ke lemogile gore ntho tše kaofela ga tsona tše di diregilego
because
ka marathon whatever
what had happened during this marathon, whatever,
it happened as a result of the privatization. If it was not because of the privatization, it wouldn't have been like this.
Yes, so what do you want to see happen?
So ke duma ge e ka go ka okay ke duma ge the state se ka nka responsibility ya go cater these mentally ill peoples, because once ba ba lahlela ko di NGOs and all private institutions is where the problem lies. Everybody is looking to fill up his pocket or her pocket. But if it was national, the whole institution was nationalized, we wouldn't have been at this stage.
I
think.
wish that the government could take up this whole thing and not deal with the NGOs. And stop privatizing these mental institutions. They must fall under the government.
Is there anything else that you want to say, sir?
Something happened? So what was the
I don't have much to say about it.
I don't have much to say about it.
Thank you, Justice Musaneke.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Maditsi. I don't have any questions for you. I'd just like to thank you for coming and testifying today.
Thank you, Justice.
Thank you, Justice. We have no questions for the witness.
Thank you, Justice. We've got no questions.
Well, before you go down your usual route, counsel, are you going to deal with the question of the institutionalization of this young lady in your questions now?
Well,
Well, if you're not, there's some proposition I want to put to you.
I will, Justice.
You will deal with it.
Yes.
Okay. Very well. Please proceed.
Mr. Madizi, good afternoon.
Thobela Ntate Maditsi.
Tobela Justice.
Afternoon, Justice.
You have mentioned that after the transfer of Khozo from Life Esidimeni, she was transferred to Takalani.
War has not iswa ko life Esidimeni khotso, se iswa ko Takalane.
Go jwalo,
Correct?
And after your visit at Takalani, you found the conditions to be unbearable.
And le ho seno mise ko Takalane o kry-a gore maemo a mo ha just di welang.
go jwalo, Justice.
Correct?
Which culminated in your decision to remove her from the institution.
Tse leng gore la tšea sephetho sa gore la mo tlosa ka moo.
Go jwalo, Justice.
Correct?
And I understand you to be saying that she is currently at home in Limpopo.
War hona bjano o gae Limpopo.
Go jwalo, Justice.
Correct?
Where in Limpopo?
Kae ko Limpopo?
Gas Kukune.
At Hasekukuni.
And I have heard of your evidence that you went to the Department of Health wherein you made contact with an official by the name of Bafana.
Re kwele ore o ile ko Department of Health wa kopana le Bafana.
Go jwalo, Justice.
Correct?
And you were advised that you needed to make contact with the family committee.
Ba ba ra ba o tsamaya o teana le family committee.
Go jwalo, Justice.
That's correct?
What has been your engagement with this family committee insofar as it relates to the placement of Khozo in one of the institutions in Gauteng?
O kopane le family committee e wa kere mabapi le gore Khozo a tliswe ka mo Gauteng ka mo. Ke eng se se tswetse mogola mo dimataba eo?
Go fihlela ga jwalo, ga gona le se se ntšwelago mogola.
Up until now, there's nothing that came up.
Have you discussed Khozo's situation of being at home with the family representatives from the
Osel-
committee?
O sele wa bolela le the family representatives tsa committee e gore Khozo o ko gae le maemo a gae a bjang.
Ke buile le bona,
Yes.
Justice.
I spoke to them, Councillor.
And did you inform them of the fact that your family will wish Khozo to be placed in one of the facilities
Oh,
which
well,
are
let's-
appropriate for her accommodation?
O boletse le bona family reps tse gore le ka thabela gore Khozo a tlosiwe ko gae a iswe mo ho mo di-institutioneng tseo.
Ke buile le bona, Justice.
Yes, I spoke to them.
And what has been the outcome of that
Di-
engagement?
Karabo tsa bona he se no kopana le bona e nnile eng.
Karabo tsa bona ba rile, okay, ban referetse go the current Deputy Director, Mrs. Kupik Marey.
They referred me to the current deputy director, Kobi Mare.
Kupik Marey, we put our case on her.
We placed our case on Kobi Mare.
So, se makatsang gore Kupik Marey, go na le gore a sorte problem ya rona, gore botsa gore no, o nyaka a confirmation. He received all the transfer letters.
What is surprising from
Decide.
our family is that Kubi Maria said she want confirmation from our side, but we have sent all the documents to her.
So what surprises me gore Kupi Mare or never to or any transfer from two provincials, it gonna take long. Up now it can take up to 3 months.
What Kubi Mare
finalize it
said
placement.
to us that from one province to the other, it will take long, even more than 3 months. And what surprised us, why can't they replace her?
To start, let me come in first. To start going ngwana ge re mo tšea ko Takalane, there had never been remunkile only within 30 minutes ka ge re bona gore mo o tla šwa.
Because when we took the daughter, the child from Takalani, it didn't even take 30 minutes because we have seen that she is going to die there.
Ngwana o be a sena le file
She did not have a file.
le ka Limpopo a kena systemong ya Limpopo.
She's not yet been on the system at Limpopo.
Se se leng gona ko gore ngwana o ga swantse gore a boe ba re botsa gore the protocol ya gona, the process ya gona, it's gonna take some
When
months.
she's supposed to come this side, they tell us about the process that is going to take long.
If you can just take 30 minutes from Takalani to home, there hasn't been any process. And then now they are telling us about transfer letter. They said that the provincial government, interprovincial transfer is going to take us long. That's where we don't have a hope, Gabon.
We don't have a hope about them.
But she is not institutionalized in Limpopo, is she?
Yeah.
Yes?
So what transfer is required from you?
Ba batla transfer o batla transfer yang.
No, the Gauteng department.
Now you seem to have met with a Miss Kobi Kutsia.
O setse o kopane le ena
I
Makotsi.
met with Kopi last week.
Ke monna gape ke mosadi?
Kopi Marei.
Kopi Mare- ke
She's a,
mosadi?
it's a she.
Yeah, it's-
Okay, you met Miss Kopi Mare, and what transfer did she say she required?
O ne o batla transfer e feng?
Initially, we had a transfer letter from the doctor and the social worker that side. They sent those letters. Now he said he wanted a confirmation from Kupi to provincial Limpopo.
They have sent her
Health
a
provincial.
transfer from the doctor and the social worker. Now she said she want a transfer from provincial.
The first was a transfer letter from that side to here. That was the demand from the Gauteng department. So the letters arrived this side. So Kupi wanted, they got the letters from Limpopo. They wanted a confirmation. They say Limpopo they wanted a confirmation from Limpopo. I don't know what confirmation are they talking about.
Mr. Maditi, you have mentioned that Khotso was admitted at Life Esidimeni in Randfontein, not so?
Wa re khotso na admitile ko Life Esidimeni Randfontein, ho bjalo?
Go jwalo?
Correct?
And she was transferred to Takalani.
Ba mo transferela ko Takalane.
Go jwalo?
Correct?
And pursuant to the report of the Ombud, all those mental health care users had to be transferred back to those institutions which are appropriate
And
for
morago-
their care.
Morago ga ombudsman report se le ba re ba botlhe ba tshwanetse gore ba isiwe ko dipolekeng tse e leng gore ba ile go tlhokomelwa ko teng tse di leng maleba mo maphelong a bona.
Go jwalo?
Correct?
And those facilities are within the province of Gauteng.
And the poleke tseo tsa hona di mo Gauteng,
Go jwalo?
correct?
Do you have any difficulties if Khotso is admitted
O na le
in
matha-
one of those institutions in Gauteng?
o na le bothata ba gore Khoso a ka tseiwa mo e nngwe ya di-institution tse mo Gauteng.
Ga ke na bothata ke duma ga go ka ba jwalo.
I agree with you. I wish it can be that, in that way. I don't have any objection.
So will you consider to state that case that you wish her to be accommodated in one of the institutions
Why-
within the province of Gauteng?
O wish gore Khoso a ka beiwa mo e nngwe ya di-institutions tseo mo Gauteng, Ntate Maditse.
Go jwalo ke duma jwalo.
Correct. I agree with you.
Mr. Madizi, I'll implore upon you to make contact with the family committee that you had previously had discussion with.
Ke tlo kgopela gore o iteane le committee contact le committee members gore di-committee reps ba nneng o bolela le bona pele.
Ke kopane le di-committee members Diamfa Health Department, which
I
is the
met with the
Director
committee
General
members.
in the department by the name of Kupi Mare, and Kupi Mare is dragging the feet to place the child.
They referred me to the director, Kobi Mare, whom I met and placed my request on her. She's now dragging her feet.
Ke bone gore ko tala gape ko the committee member. The committee members, we discussed this with them, and their duty is to force these people gore ba placing one.
I went to the committee members. I don't see any need to go back to them because they gave me a guideline. They are just waiting for the child to be placed.
We have had your wish that if Khotso can be accommodated in one of the institutions within the Gauteng province, and we will implore upon the government to take necessary steps to come to the assistance of Khotso as well as your family.
You are making a tender to intervene, are you?
Indeed.
Yes.
Aro eno tla dira tshwetso taba ya gore a kopane a teane le ba Department of Health gore Khoso ba mo place.
Okay, nka thabela sewe.
I'll be happy about that, okay?
And I should, however, emphasize that the official that you had spoken to is employed within the province of Gauteng and therefore has no control in matters outside the province. That is why we make the undertaking that assistance should be given to you in relation to those institutions within this province.
Of course, Khoso was in the province, isn't it?
Yes.
She was admitted to a facility in the province.
Indeed so. Yes.
And she gets transferred to Takalani. And the evidence before me is that her guardian and uncle feared for her life. He says in so many words, I thought she might die. She says in 25 minutes that made up their minds to take her out of there. And she gets taken to Limpopo because he has lost his job, and the caregiver, possible caregiver, is in Limpopo. So an intervention will really be in the spirit of what we're trying to do, isn't it?
Indeed so, Justice.
Yes. And I appreciate the tender, rather than wait for an order within the award, because this is a clear case of somebody who should have been placed together with all other patients when the placement happened.
Well, like it appears that like there's been no proper communication by family members on behalf of Khotso together with the department. So that is why we say those matters will then need to be cleared up to see how the department can come to their assistance in light of the transfers.
And council, how soon do you think we'll hear about this matter?
Justice, I
I
can't.
have no idea of the procedure and how it works,
Therefore,
but I'm anxious to accommodate somebody who was institutionalized and who was affected by the marathon project and who now sits without appropriate care. So if you could just check, you don't have to give me an answer now,
indeed.
and see what process is at play here and how can we all collectively have this young lady given the care that she deserves.
That is correct, Justice.
Okay, sure, thank you. But you go ahead with your rest of your questions.
Well,
Council.
Justice, there will be no further questions. The questioning was to explore exactly where the problem is lying insofar as her current location.
Yes. Yeah, I'm grateful for that, thank you. And you'll tell us in due course when it can be resolved so that we can at least have this matter sorted out. And rather than leaving it in the hands of the family committee. If they're consulted, that's fine, but in the end, the object should always be, as you have tendered, to get this young lady placed appropriately.
Thank you, Justice.
Thank you. With no further questions, re-examination?
Thank you, Justice. Just one question, Mr. Maditi. My learned friend said there were no proper communication. This lady to whom you've spoken, Kubi Marie, is it correct that she's acting in Dr. Malamela's place?
Bara no husna communication ya ebutsi. Kobi maro uanga eka no. What's the name of species Dr. Manamela?
Go jwalo,
That's correct.
Justice.
So that's the most senior person that you can complain
Ke no
to.
lengoro o go diwana ka ya go ilo tletleba ko wena.
Go jwalo, Justice.
Correct?
Thank
I can
you,
press
Justice.
you, counsel, to stay with the proper form of address. It's sometimes difficult with witnesses, but I can insist that you call her, whatever she is, Dr. Coetzee or Miss Coetzee.
I'm sorry, Justice. I think it's Dr. Kutsia.
Let's stick with that.
Yes,
Dr.
Kutsia was the previous minister of Justice, Kubi.
No, she's copy Coetzee.
No, she's Kubi Marie. Dr.
She's copy,
Kubi Marie, Justice Dr. Kubi Marie, I think.
she's copy Mare.
Yes,
I see, okay.
thank you.
I'm sorry, I introduced the Coetzee in error. I apologize. Very well.
Thank you, Justice. I've no further questions.
Okay. Mohamed, what's about Rishuma Biam
You know how is the procedure here, sir?
Go fellow,
Yes, I know. At the end, right? At the end,
Rokopela Mutoba, Afanaka Bupaki.
we request the person who was testifying
Ansha my Kutwagawe,
to cough out his view. We are listening.
Nka thoma ka go leboga the committee
I'd like to
The
thank the
family
committee,
committee
the family
members.
committee members.
ba bego ba tšere maikarabelo a go informa le gore ba directe gore where to go and all this.
Who directed me and who took the whole initiative.
Ka leboga gape le the Legal Aid South Africa
I also like to thank the Legal Aid South Africa,
and Section 27
Section 27,
for the efforts they put on this matter. And up to so far, I don't have much to say. I can say thank you, guys. Thank you.
Smart, Leborile.
we thank you, sir. Let me see.
You are excused.
Ra leboha.
Well, 6:45.
Justice, we don't have any further witnesses for today.
I was looking at you and wondering whether you are going to be a little more adventurous, counsel, but until the day is done. Let's talk a little about tomorrow. Is there anything else to say about tomorrow? We're meeting here at 9:30, and we'll have Dr. Silibano here, and we'll start with his evidence. Anything else that counsel would like to say before we adjourn?
Nothing from our side. Thank you, Justice Moseneke.
Nothing to add, Justice Moseneke.
Counsel?
We have nothing to add, Justice Msaneke.
Got nothing to add.
No.
Thank you, Justice.
Advocate Utamu?
Until tomorrow, Justice, we shall meet.
Sure, okay. We are adjourned till 9:30 tomorrow morning.
Because I remember it was cold, and when we passed going to the bathroom, I inquired about the place not having heaters. Because I remember it was cold, and when we passed going to the bathroom, I inquired about the place not having heaters. And what is worse with the walls at, or the rooms at Takalani is that, if I can point up there, in between, there's space opening up there. So for me, it simply means a lot of cold air goes in that room. Hence, I asked about the heaters, and they said they were going to take care of them.
So between the roof and the wall, the height of the wall, there would be space which would allow cold or warm air in.
Yes, Justice. And there were no heaters. Then when I asked, that's when they saw that we asked a lot of questions. And the next visit, we were taken to the office to sit there. And they would take more than 30 minutes.
She's obviously, she has low levels of circulation, so seemingly. But look at her hair, she's well groomed, isn't it?
In which big, Justice?
107.
107 is when she was still at life.
Yeah, I'm comparing the two with 110.
Justice. Yes, Justice.
Her clothing seems to fit her well. You can see her eyes. They actually sparkle there. They are alive. You can see her eyes.
Yes, Justice.
And her eyes have considerably retreated into the sockets in 110, isn't it so?
Yes, Justice.
And she's well washed up. You can see that in 109. The texture of her skin and the way she looks. In 110, she's quite a different human being, is she not?
That's a concern, Justice. That's why I'm saying it took Takalani to change my sister from that bubbly, sparkling sister that you see on 107. But like I'm saying, they took her to Takalani in May. My sister, because of the way she smelled whenever we visited her, decided to take her in August, beginning of August, but that's how she looked.
And in the one picture she smiles and in the other not. She actually looks quite worried in 110, L110.
Yes, Justice. As I had explained,
And she has lost a lot of weight.
when we visited her, she would jump and call names and be happy that we had visited her. But at Takalani, as she withdrew, she was so, I don't know what term to use.
Did she ever
She was
talk?
lonely.
Did she ever talk to you?
Her speech is limited, Justice.
Yes.
Yes.
Mara nako na le mo tlisitse ko gae a tlo go nna le lona.
And
O ile a
when you-
bua le lona.
And when you took her home to come and visit, did she talk to you?
Hana conversations.
She does not have conversations.
She will say, I'm going.
She will
And-
only say, I'm going.
And her I'm going, it doesn't mean that she's going somewhere, she knows where she's going. That's the line that she like using. But when you ask her, what's your name? She knows that she's Julia. If you ask her, where's your mother? She will say, Uday. So that's why I'm
Since
saying
she's present, that is what I'm saying.
her speech is limited. She won't just tell you that this and this happened. So she doesn't have much speech.
Yes, in L10 she looks like somebody who has had a very dehumanizing experience. If you compare with how well groomed and cleaned up she looked in L107. Do you agree with that?
Yes, Justice.
Anyway, continue.
So, observing these photos, Ila 107, Ila 110, your sister wasn't.
And now they've accepted autism kids. So for me, it's not talk because you can't mix 5 challenges in one place. That's what I feel that at least if they were saying they've got it's an orphanage, I would understand. But now imagine what like my sister was violent. Imagine what she could do to a child. If maybe one time they are paths crossed. I'm telling you, Justice, we used to run for our lives. And I remember when at home, it was before Skangagin. Yes. And it was not open, my sister, because we would hide ourselves in the bushes until she was calmed down. Whether she calmed down at 9, it was not a problem for our parents because they had to make sure that she was calmed down first. Otherwise, she would fight everybody in the house. So imagine such a patient with an elderly who can't maybe walk properly, or someone in a wheelchair, or a child who is an orphan. That's why I was not only worried about my sister, but those as well that are in that yard, it was a serious concern. So Dr. Manamela said it's top-notch NGO. It's stamped down when it comes to Takalani. It's not a good place for people that can't take care of themselves to be there. What I can say to you, Justice, is that when we go to Takalani day one, the caregivers that were there, you could see that they did not even know what they were going to do with mentally challenged people. They were not equipped. They were not prepared before that they were going to get, because the questions that you would ask concerning mentally challenged people, they did not even understand them. So I'm saying no, it's not a top-notch NGO.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Bolo. When was she moved back from Takalani?
Well, before moving her back to some place, you are aware that a number of people, patients died at Takalani.
Justice, my sister was at Takalani from May last year up to 11th of April 2017. Never were we told by the personnel at Takalani that, I mean, if there's a funeral, especially in our black culture, we do mention that, hey, it's so painful, we lost a member of the family, because these patients, they are treated as members of family. Like when we visited them at Randfontein, they knew them very well, they took care of them very well. But I don't remember going to Takalani and hear about that. We started hearing about this when it started coming out in the news, that there were deaths at Takalani, not one, not two, but many.
Why did you join the march?
Justice, my father passed away in 1990. He was the one who understood my sister's condition. My mother, yes, she was there for my sister until she passed on in 2011, but she was not that strong person. My sister is voiceless. If I did not join the march, who would have represented my sister and those that do not have family members that are mentally challenged? So that is why I would go to work, request at work. I remember there's a march. I hope my manager is not watching. I sneaked out at work because they said, no, you leave at this time. And I felt that I'm going to miss out. I had to leave. So that is why I joined, so that at least maybe we stop the movement. But unfortunately enough, it did happen.
Did your sister ever tell you, do you know whether she has experienced the dying of any of her colleagues at Takalani?
Like I explained, Justice, that her speech is limited. She doesn't have conversations. She never did.
Thank you, Justice. So you said that your sister was at Takalani until the 11th of April 2017.
Yes, Justice.
Where was she moved to after leaving Takalani?
She was moved to Life Esidimeni in Main Reef Road.
It was after the Ombudsman had released the report.
Yes, Justice.
There was an outbreak of typhoid at Takalani.
I don't understand the question, Justice.
We have a report here of an outbreak of typhoid at Takalani.
Okay, Justice.
Did you hear of it?
No, Justice. No, Justice. I never heard about it. When they were there, like I'm saying, information was not disclosed. They did not want us to see other patients. It's just that patients did come to us, but they did not want us to see the patients.
So how is your sister now at Paneng?
She's much better when we look at her physically, but she's still withdrawn because I remember we visited her last month. She was as if she didn't know us. She was so lonely, but she was with us. We were with my sister that I say she's very fond of Lefenze. But when we arrived, she didn't jump, Mabule, Mabule, because that's what she usually do. And she sat with us for just a few minutes. She ate, then she wanted to leave. So she's coming, but still not there.
What effect it had to your family, this? What happened to your sister?
What I can say to you when it comes to family, we are traumatized about what happened to our sister. You know, whenever you heard somebody saying, my family member had passed away, before we slept with my sister, we would pray on the phone, asking ourselves that